Ooga ooga. There we go. Hello! Alright, let me hit the... Wow! Hello! Good day. Hola. Can I switch this from people in blogs to, like, entertainment or something? I feel like entertainment's a better category. Yeah, let's do that. Hi, entertainment people. Hello, Hixar. Hello. Hello, hello. I'm just gonna hold... I'm just gonna hold this. First time, just in time. What's up, Swear Willie? Hello, Jan Clever Ivanchik. Names. Ow. Oh, that's right on my trap. Oh, it's so good. Holy shit. Oh, I haven't done a pull. Fuck. Fuck. Shit. Stay. God damn it. Stay. Good boy. Good boy. Good mace bell. A poll. That's it. That's what I wanted to do. I know what I wanted to do for a poll. I'm gonna go poll Lee, because this actually, poll Lee makes this sort of thing really easy. I'm gonna go poll Lee, and I'm going to go T is my name, and my question is, what in the world is worth being thankful for? Let's poll. It's a me, Sal. The first time I have time to tune in. It's a me, dear Boo. Thanks for coming, Sal. It's good to see you. Am I off angle-wise? I must be, because that's supposed to be there, because you're not supposed to be able to see the wall next to me. There we go. There we go. What happened? Something shifted in my whole setup. It's weird. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter that much. And I have to actually grab the poll. Hold on. Copy link. And post it. And, oh shit. Delete it. Whoops. And post it and say, today's poll. Gratitude. There we go. And post it. And pin it. Pin the message. Okay, great. So everybody should be able to see that forever. Pin message. Message pinned. Alright, good. Oh, I double-clicked, so it undid it. That's what happened. Cool. Message pinned. What in the world is worth being thankful for? YouTube! YouTube! I'm thankful for fucking YouTube. Holy shit. Yeah, living is alright, for sure. I got no problems with living. Living's pretty fucking good, man. Living is, even nice, actually. The reason, by the way, the reason that I'm bringing this up is that it's Thanksgiving today. It's the United States holiday of Gib Thanksing. Which people constantly, like, every time I say, like, Happy Thanksgiving to somebody, they're like, yeah, you know, happy colonization day, happy fuck the Indians day, happy fuck up other cultures day. It's like, yeah, that's all super true. Gosh, shouldn't we at least take the opportunity to try to do the thing that the holiday suggests that we should do? Happy Thanksgiving. I'm working at the grocery store right now. See, that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. Most of the grocery stores around me are closed, and for good reason, so that their damned employees can go and have damned Thanksgivings. That's some of the cynical bullshit that gets me, right? It's like, this is a holiday, man. People should not be working. Now, I get grocery stores working, because people are stupid and they don't buy all their Thanksgiving stuff on time. And you have to go out and you're like, oh god, we forgot the cranberry sauce. We gotta go get the cranberry sauce, or we're all gonna die. So you have to go to a damn store and get the damn cranberry sauce. But it's balls for the people who have to work on Thanksgiving. I don't know that I will. It's not self-evident to me that I will end up recording today. I've already been asked and roped into doing a number of other things today, because today is actually not Thanksgiving for my friends. Effectively. It's today's Thanksgiving, but we do what we call Friendsgiving, and we do it on Saturday. And it's a big deal. And so prep for Friendsgiving starts today and it goes until Saturday. So it's Thursday right now, and my landlords, who are both experienced cooks, are going to be cooking all day. They were up until like 2 something a.m. last night just getting prep done in terms of cleaning the kitchen. I walked into the kitchen this morning and it's spotless. There's nothing on any of the counters. Everything has been removed. Like, all of the fridges have been gone through, and all the stuff that nobody uses have been taken out just so that there's space in the fridges for all of the prep stuff. There's an enormous turkey sitting in the location in my fridge where I want to keep all my food. And so all my food has been smashed to the side and shoved around. It's like, this is a deal here, and it's good. It's really good to have traditions that work around you. And it's something that, well, I've talked about this every time that we've had Thanksgiving and every time that we've had Christmas since I started this channel. But my family didn't really do these. I bet the turkey isn't thankful today. Yeah, well, fuck the turkey. Turkeys are asshole birds, and they taste quite okay, so fuck them. I'm also eating some physical, real food in the morning. To add on to my usual diet of protein shakes and vitamins. My usual breakfast, at least. I eat food. Oh, that has to be turned up. That's a different tea. You say it like it almost never happened. Yeah, I don't eat normal food very frequently. Well, no, that's not true. In the morning, in breakfast. My usual breakfast is milk, whey protein, and peanut butter, protein shake, and some vitamins. But I'm having some physical food because I want to have the oats and because I wanted them. Geese are fucking assholes, Kikori. Fuck geese. We got some real answers in the poll here. YouTube living, freedom to have multiple paths in life. Now that, Sal, is really good. The greatest privilege of all is the privilege of choice. The ability to not only have free will, but to express it. And to not be enslaved. It's pretty fucking good. A lot of people in history have been slaves. Haven't been able to express their free will at all. So it's pretty fucking good to have freedom to have multiple paths to live in. Living itself is pretty good, but I'm with Sal on this one. That freedom, man, that's everything to me. That shit matters. That shit just matters. You know? Okay, so yeah, it's Thanksgiving today, and it kind of snuck up on me. I wasn't really expecting it. I sort of had this weird feeling in my head that Thanksgiving was on Friday, and reconnection successful. Okay, I just blipped for a second there. Unfortunate. I do like and want to do something for Thanksgiving, but I don't know what. I forgot American Thanksgiving was today. Yeah. Wanted to say about nature, but nature sucks in general. I see. I mean, I love nature. Nature's great. It will kill you. It's an asshole. It's not very nice. Me Marino hits us with storytelling and animation on the poll. I agree. I like stories a lot. I think stories are worth being fucking thankful for. We got a supportive friends, family, and boyfriend from Madzia. Madzia, I'm so glad. I'm so happy for you. Spice and Wolf Thanksgiving special. Good work. Good work. There's also, I mean, there's season 2 of Isekai Shokudo, but I'm pretty sure I did that for Christmas. Let me check. I did do it as holiday vibes. So I did it as Christmas. Vegans are weird. I've raised chickens before. Won't stop me from eating chicken. I don't fully understand the context of your chat, Angel James, but I mean, I agree. I did get some interesting conversation going. I have to go back through it, and I've gotten like 155 comments just in the last few hours, just since I posted Mushoku Tensei last night, which makes sense. But this one with the double episode, it like exploded. It really blew up. I don't know. Cool. Regardless, I got some serious flack because I kind of flippantly was like, eat animals, it's fine. It's not fine. I mean, there are moral compunctions and reasons you don't want to kill and eat animals, but if it comes down to your health versus the extended life of a pig, choose your health every time. Looked up best anime to watch on Thanksgiving. One choice was Golden Kamui. Eat some squirrel brains for Thanksgiving meal. I still gotta watch the double Mushoku video. Have at it. Have fun. It's up. It's up and permanent now. It's forever. Forever. Also, it looks like I'm taking a lot of pills. I understand that. Most of what I'm taking is creatine. Oh, and an omega-3 supplement. They're like the least interesting supplements that you can possibly take. Creatine and fish oil. It's literally creatine, protein powder, fiber, and fish oil is my breakfast. That's my breakfast. That's what the oats are for. They're for fibrous mass. Man, I had this is weird to say, but it came up in the last episode or in the last video. So I'm just gonna mention I had a great shit this morning. I mean, really, right as soon as I woke up, excellent, just excellent. Pretty interesting. It feels like I think I nailed my probiotic, prebiotic, postbiotic stuff. So my whole gut is working properly. That's really fantastic. People who love and care. I agree. Family and friends. It's a classic. It's a fucking classic. Music. Artistic expression. I agree. Critical thinking. Bread machine. Honestly, if you've got a bread machine, that's something to be fucking thankful for. For sure. Wow, the list of best Thanksgiving movies sucks. Oh, Addams Family Values. There we go. There's a movie. It's the first movie on this whole list that's interesting. Oh, there we go. Scent of a Woman, Little Women. Most of these fucking suck. Funny People. Jeez, why? That's not the movie to watch on Thanksgiving. These suck. Got mine for $40 from Target last year. Can't recommend it enough. my flatmate is an avid baker and has a rather nice bread machine that I don't use, but you know. New Addams Family show on Netflix. Dragula. Hello, how have you been? Hi, Samyagtar Tuladar. I am well. It is Thanksgiving and I am awake as fuck. I went out this morning and got my sunlight, and I also took out that thing. That fucking thing. The giant dildo that's sitting on my desk that nobody's asked about. That thing is a mace bell. Or a gada. Like a... If there are any of you who are South Asian, or you would call... Have you Anti-Fragile by Nassim Nicholas Taleb? I have not, but I've heard of it. Things that gain from disorder. Yeah. I have heard of it. I've also I'm focused heavily on progressive overload and can barely see it. Probably know why no one asked. That makes sense. I'm very focused on progressive overload and defragility, regarding David Goggins and Lex Friedman and Chris Williamson and some other people who are on those paths, as well as some of the neuroscience and neurobiology behind that, which I'm learning at the moment from Huberman mostly, but also from doing some of my own research. So, I immediately after reading the taglines of Antifragile, I know that this would be a valuable book. I don't know if I need to actually read it because I think I probably have all the concepts that are in it already. But there you go. Fantastic Mr. Fox. Fantastic Mr. Fox is actually maybe really up there because the chickens and the birds and the story works and yeah. Yeah, I gotta be careful around all my tech. Oh yeah. Yeah. But I can just have this thing like this. Looking sick. Dances with Wolves is a great film. Holy shit, Timbo. I haven't thought of that forever. It's one of my mom's favorite movies. Not that that's a good indication that it's a great movie, but it is one of my favorite movies. Rewatch some Watership Down and be very thankful because it could be worse. Yeah, it could be way worse. Yeah, just go fully Orwellian with it. Just watch Watership Down and other Orwell. Oh man, see, I'm currently resting. This is a 10-pound mace bell, so it's 4.5 kilos. It's not terribly heavy, except when you're holding it on the end of a 3-foot stick. God, fuck, God, shit, God. Then it's hard. Then it's hard. Who is Gib? Gib is give. Like give thanks? Like give thanks. Mom's approval is the deciding factor to whether it's good or not, I think. Depends on your mom. Depends on your mom. Some moms don't have any fucking taste. And a lot of moms just sit around watching romance movies all day. But my mother used to like watching Batman Beyond. Your mom sounds dope. Ow. This thing, because it's continuously imbalanced, and the handle is hollow. The handle down here is hollow, and then less hollow up here, and then solid here, of course, because it's got the weight on the end. So it's off-center and imbalanced in every way. The South Asian and Indian peoples figured this shit out so long ago. They call them it's called a gada, Gada. It's just a big ass club, and it's like one of the primary forms of exercise and has been for forever. It's partly like weaponistic, where you're doing literal training to use a club, but it turns out that humans are really, really attuned to swinging a big stick around like a club. And so well, it's quite useful to be able to do that. And I was looking at stuff like this for a while. And then I was looking at a really expensive one from a guy who I really like his products. It's Chris Doven of Kabuki Strength. I wear the shoes that he designed because I really like them. And I've been evaluating some of the barbell designs and other exercise equipment that he's made, and just general information that he's put out there into the world. And it's like a mishmash. I don't like all of it. I don't like some of the capitalist vibes to it. Not capitalist, but marketing-y vibes, you know what I mean? But in general, I see solid products being made by a solid company for particularly good reasons. And one of the products is called a shoulder rock, and it's a plate loadable mace. So that you can take the mace and you can add whatever weights you want to it and make it heavier or lighter. And that thing's like $250. So I was looking at that like, oh god, I don't want that. Especially if I've never tried the damn thing. And I'd seen some videos and I thought it looked really cool. So I went looking, I was like, can I buy a mace? And it turns out that there are a number of Chinese companies making cheap maces. And so this one was $31 for what I have seen, and my friend and I have been playing with it and hanging out, swinging it around, and learning some of the forms. And it's the best piece of exercise equipment that I've ever invested in. Better than bands, better than flat shoes, better than clips for weights. Not better than a belt, probably. Belt is pretty great. And, yeah, that's a great point, Kikuri. And I have a somewhat decent weapon during a zombie apocalypse. More than a decent weapon. This thing would smash some fucking heads. And it's not too heavy to swing around real hard. But it's a full steel mace made of steel. And you can definitely, you can clonk some nonks with it if you need to. Can clobber some slobbers. Hey, clobber a slobber. Save the world, kill a zombie, clobber a slobber. That's actually funny. It feels like we would High School of the Dead for Thanksgiving movie. Honestly, you're fucking on. I'm gonna go torrent it right now. I'm not even playing, man. High School of the Dead for a Thanksgiving film. Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. Let's see. Now we'll never bloom. Yeah. Need a new leader. I need a new... I'm just gonna go Judas because it's small. I'll grab simplistic as well. There we go. Maces and zombies. Oh, here we go. How do belts help BTW? I've always wondered about that. I will get to that in a sec. The Walking Dead comics are really good. Recommend it. Neat. You should check out Ed's thoughts from the last two MT episodes. I might do that. I'm going to do that after a while because I want to let those thoughts percolate for a while so that I don't jump in. It got a lot of mixed responses from MT viewers and fans. If you don't, that's okay. Well, he would have a very particular attachment-based perspective on the communication styles of these characters. Like, I can guess at some of what Ed would think, and I can guess at some of why it would be that way. Angel James says, I have zero problem with fan service, but High School of the Dead was too much for me. So I full disagree. High School of the Dead lowers all of the characters to the level of animalistic, and then demonstrates the whole thing. I mean, horror movies aren't about the monsters. Horror movies are about the people who survive. And there's real moralization in the way that the sexualization of the characters occurs, and the way that our character is semi-rewarded for, or our characters are semi-rewarded for their behaviors by the attention and gratification, you might say, of the female characters that are around them. I think there's a lot going on in High School of the Dead on those fronts in some spectacular ways. And also, more importantly, I would say, the Titty's good. Titty's good, and frankly, some of the absolute top tier, best animation and general depiction of really overly sexified anime characters occurs in High School of the Dead, and it knows that it's overly sexifying them, and it's great. I really think it's great. I really like it. It's like I really like some of the sexualization in Code Geass as well. Yeah, sue me. I know, right? But I really quite enjoy a lot of it. Something High School of the Dead music video for the new song. I don't care. I don't care about a song. I don't give a fuck about a song. Big Booba. Yeah, no, Big Booba good. Big Booba thumbs up. Very good. All praise, all pleased. Sexuality good. Sexy people awesome. No fucking problem. Also, short-haired female lead singer is just my type. That's very good. I'm glad to know it. I need a new leader. School Live Club. More of a fan of small to medium booba. Hey, all booba, man. All booba. All booba good. I got no problem. See, what I am is I'm a fan of petite athletic women. And so that usually doesn't come with big booba. And so I'm more interested in smaller booba. You know, as you might expect. Booba good, but biceps. Fair enough. Fair enough. Much. Side Chester. So, I guess that didn't really come through. Sad has put nothing, it's over for me on the poll, and a lot of people have liked it. I got a problem with that, even if it's kind of a meme. That's not okay, man. And really, I think the answer is you gotta move now. Because if you stay where you are, you're just gonna go downhill. You gotta move now. It means do one thing now. I don't care what it is. Clean up one thing off of your desk. Do one push-up. Read one letter of one word of one book. Write one word of something. You gotta do something now. Because sad, with nothing to be thankful for, you're not gonna live very long. And I'm not okay with that. Because I'd like you to live, because there are things to be thankful for. Here's the thing to be thankful for. More people have been lifted out of poverty in the last couple of years, last 10 years, than there have been, like, people out of poverty before that for a long time. Like, billions of people are reaching lower to middle class incomes. It's crazy. There are almost twice as many obese people in the world as there are starving people. That's crazy. Almost twice as many. There are about 2 billion people who are considered obese. Significantly overweight. Have way too much food and eat way too much food. About 2 billion. And about 1 billion people who are food insecure globally. As a Brit, I'm thankful that your Democrats didn't lose the Congress. Yeah. Obese is usually actually a sign of poverty. Yes, but no. It's poverty in abundance. I understand what you mean, and you're correct. Because you end up purchasing cheaper foods, which cause obesity spikes. But it's a really thin and how do I put it? It's a very oversimplified statement in Mo that obese is a sign of poverty. That's true, but the fact that there are 2 billion obese people in the world is not a sign of poverty. It's a sign that there's abundant food. Because it's better than starving. I mean, it's better than starving? No, I really believe that it is, yes. Yeah, being in poverty is better than being homeless. Like some poverty, having some funding is way better than zero. Having some food to eat, even if it's shitty food, is better than none. Because I've been in the place where I had no food to eat, and it turns you into a monster. And when you're at least satiated, you're not a monster, not as much. You have enough money to gain weight in the first place, right? So the issue is this, which Inmo is not wrong. He's not wrong. Being in a poverty line or poverty level situation, especially if you don't have access to the education around healthcare and food consumption, which is crucial because most people, we're not well educated regarding food consumption. I mean, the food pyramid exists and it's garbage. It's garbage. It's not what you should eat at all. At all. But you don't know what you should be eating, and you're beholden to advertisement and essentially a slave to your own consumption. The triangle of taste, price, and healthy food, pick 2. False. Straight false. That's not true at all. But you need education in order to get there, and you need the skills to cook. You like the triangle of taste, price, and healthy food, you can pick all 3 if you're educated. On a very low budget, you can eat rather healthily. Assuming that you have access to it, and assuming that you have the ability to like hold back your hunger so you don't just buy donuts immediately, right? Because donuts or McDonald's dollar menu things, they seem really cheap and they're immediately satiating and filling. So you have to have... All right, we should be back. There we go. We're back. Obesity is often comorbid with poverty in a first world situation. Correct. But the first world poverty is wealth compared to historical poverty. Exactly. The goalpost has been very moved when the poor are obese. Exactly. That'll happen with 20 uploads. Seems to be stalling a lot tonight. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's up with that. Partly it might be that I'm torrenting High School of the Dead. That might be it. Anyway, we back. Yeah, we back. I don't know. It just is disconnecting. What I'm watching is that my internet is actually fully cutting out and then going back up. It's not me. I know you've said the food pyramid is bad, but how bad is the My Plate thing? As a Zoomer, that's what I got taught in high school. I'm not as familiar with it. Let me check. Let's pull it up, actually. Not there. No. Here. And then I think this one. Okay. Food pyramid. Oh, it's so bad. Okay. My Plate. Food. So this one. Okay. Yeah, I get why they're doing that way. Canada, I do see that immediately that Canada has a better version of it. But let me pull all of these up for all of y'all. I actually have to switch this to the other window. Hold on. USDA, the food pyramid. There we go. So, was never born. Need a new leader. Need a new ludens. New ludens, yeah. Alright, so that should show up. Yeah, you guys can see? You see the food pyramid? I hope you see the fucking food pyramid. If you don't see the fucking food pyramid, we're gonna have a fucking problem. We're gonna have a fucking problem. No, we're good. Okay, so food pyramid's up. The food pyramid sucks balls. There's a huge problem. The main problem is this down at the bottom. This is not correct. You should not be eating rice, pasta, bread, and cereal as your primary source of food groups. That's not correct. It should be either vegetables Like, I can blow it up and just do that. It should be either vegetables and fruits and stuff. Or you can do, it seems, you can do pretty well off of eating mostly meat and poultry and fish and stuff. But regardless, the way these are grouped is bad individually. Fats, oils, and sweets used sparingly, wrong. And you shouldn't be keeping your fats, oils, and sweets together. These are separate. Like, these are separate things. And specifically, sugars should be kept out separate. You can eat a lot of fat and a lot of oil. I feel like fats are too up. They're way too up. You need way more fat. It should be vegetables and fats from like plant sources, then fruits, then meats and cheeses, like protein sources, and then grains and stuff. Like grains and stuff, this stuff should be at the smallest. Okay, so let's go from there. This is the basic My Plate, which is just, you know, basically quadrated up. It's missing your daily intake of uranium and polonium. Seriously, how are you going to become radioactive? Radioactive. You're never going to get there if you don't eat your heavy metals, man. Heavy metals. This is fine. I don't like it. I really don't. I'd put a bunch of grains down at the bottom too. Well, I'd put them in the garbage is where I'd put a bunch of grains. Don't eat as many grains. Most of the, a lot of the issues that we can find in overall society is eating far too many carbohydrates and not enough nutrition. It really doesn't help that when you say bread, you can mean about 1,000 different things. Have you watched Food Theory's video on the nutrition chart? No. When you say bread, you can mean about 1,000 different things. What kind of bread are you talking about, ma'am? Are you talking about nutrient-dense CD pumpernickel? Or are you talking about white bread? Buckwheat, oatmeal, millet, I think they deserve a place at the bottom of the pyramid. No, near the middle. Your base needs to be vegetables. Living, currently alive things. Currently alive things. Things that are still alive. Like their cells are still alive. So that you can consume them and destroy them and turn them into you. It's crucial. Okay. This is fine, but overall, this doesn't teach anybody anything, which is a problem. This is the Canadian model that I saw, which has some straightforward things. Plenty of vegetables and fruits. I know it's blurry, but whatever. Plenty of vegetables and fruits. That should be your start. When you eat grains, they should be whole grain foods. Right. If you're going to eat pasta, make it whole grain pasta. If you're going to eat rice, make it a rice with the full gran, or the full bran, or the full kernel on it. Not the full kernel, but parts of it, you know? Like brown rice it just has the kernel on it for fiber. I personally prefer like quinoa or wild rice or black rice or something with more nutritional density even than brown rice. And I'll eat white rice right around my workouts, or I'll be moving toward doing so because that like pump of starches spikes your insulin in ways that are actually helpful. So this says eat protein foods, and you can see there are beans, chickpeas, almonds, nuts, seeds, chicken, beef, tofu, tempeh, yogurt, or some kind of soured dairy product, fish, and eggs. And that is exactly right. But I think that it should be a slightly larger portion of the plate, and I think that the grains portion should be smaller than this quarter. Like, I actually think grains should be far less than a quarter of your diet, depending on your exercise levels. Everything here is like, it's super like difficult to say because everyone is different. Everyone consumes and utilizes different foods and different calorie sources differently, and everyone has different exercise levels. The overall My Plate thing is far better. It's far better than the food pyramid. To answer the original question about whether this is okay, the My Plate thing is far better than the food pyramid. That doesn't mean that it's great, but it is mucho bettero. I don't think humans need food pyramids to know what we should eat. We should listen to our body because it knows what it wants. No. No, 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 no. 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 What the fuck are you talking about? You think your body knows what it wants? No, your body knows what it wants. It doesn't know what it needs. You don't know what you need. Not even a clue. You have no idea what's good for you. None of us do until we learn. Like children will eat a full tub of ice cream. Adults will eat a full tub of ice cream. Titan Machine, we were hunter-gatherers for eons before we recently figured out farming. Those eons made us work best on protein, not refined grains. Protein and fat from animal products when we could get them, but mostly we ate roots, tubers, berries, and leaves. Roots, tubers, berries, and leaves. If I eat bread all day, I'm going to crave some protein. No, you aren't. No, you aren't. You will because you have a relatively well-adjusted diet, but that is not true of most people. That's why they keep eating fucking bread all day, man. What happens when you eat bread, or let's not say bread, let's say insulin spiking, relatively refined carbohydrates, is that your blood sugar levels spike, and then your insulin levels spike, and then your blood sugar levels drop, and then you get hungry again, and you get a craving, not for protein, but for more carbohydrates. If you want to test this, wake up in the morning and eat something with sugar. Eat some sugar cereal. If you don't normally, eat some sugar cereal first thing in the morning, and then check and see how long it takes you to get hungry and what you're craving. Because what you will crave is more sugar, and it will be fast. It'll be within an hour or two. If you get up and you eat some high-protein foods, so you have some milk, some eggs, avoid toast, right? Like for this test, right? So milk, some eggs, some bacon or sausage, or some breakfast steak, or some chorizo, or something like that, right? It's going to be a couple hours before you get hungry. And when you get hungry again, you'll be just generally having a feeling of hunger. You're not in that insulin deficiency where you're craving, actually. It's completely different. But the more crucial point is this. Your body doesn't know what the fuck you want because your body actually wants donuts. We've evolved over thousands and thousands of years, millions and millions of years, to get as much of the densest food value that we can get. I had an unhealthy roommate once yell at me that iceberg lettuce is the worst thing you can eat while I had a salad. Well, it's worse than highly phytonutrient-dense dark foods, but it's better than a McDonald's chicken fuck pie. Like, Jesus. Better than deep-fried nuggies and French fries. It just doesn't have any value to it is the problem. The military has treated me well enough with the slop they serve. I feel better than I felt in years. Yeah, they have a fucking reason to treat you well, to feed you real food. And what do you eat in the military, Gurgle? Like, I'm actually curious, my friend, what do they feed you? Because it's like probably abundance, first of all, right? And then you look around and the men are not, and women are not fucking fat. You know, they're solid because they're exercising and working continuously. Also, I heard lots of meat and vegetables. Yeah, exactly. Batch cooked, relatively high quality, but not expensive. Meat and vegetables. Eat your meat, eat your veg. Steak and potatoes, man. Right? Eggs in the morning, right? Eggs, oats, milk, orange juice, right? Yeah, right. Sandwiches piled with meat if you can get them. What's the Google Docs linked below? It's the basics. I usually eat at least a little bit of sugar before workout with normal pre-workout protein food too. I don't know, just gives me a bit more energy. Oh, you don't need protein pre-workout or necessarily post-workout. You need protein all the time. A bit of sugar before workout will 100% give you more energy. It gives you glycogen. It gives you glucose, blood glucose, stuff that you can burn immediately. The thing to do that works as well or better is to have some slightly more complicated carbohydrates as well, to have a blend. Something that I do relatively frequently as my pre-workout meal is I will do 2 slices of, or 2 to 4 sometimes if I'm really hungry, 2 to 4 slices of whole wheat toast with honey on them. And that's it. So 200 to 300 calories of bread calories, so relatively refined, but still I'm talking like whole wheat breads with lots of seeds in it, so some stuff that takes some fibrousness and some getting through. And then honey, which isn't even glucose, it's fructose, so it's even a little bit faster into your system. And that's your initial immediate energy, and also some slow burn energy to keep you satiated as you're going at the gym. And then as soon as I get home from the gym, it's just scheduled into our habit system. We make a smoothie. And usually I make one big smoothie and I split it between me and my roommates. But I'll do my own if I'm on my own or whatever. And that smoothie is protein powder, peanut butter, frozen fruit, and some vegetables and milk. And so that's for additional protein and a little bit of insulin spiking from the berries, as well as just an easy way to get in some more nutrients in the form of the berries and the fruit that are blended, as well as some fats in the form of the peanut butter that's blended. And that's what we do. I have like 500 to 600 calories of protein shake with berries and fruit in it, and that's my post-workout meal. In a general sense, the body does know what it needs. I mean, you'll feel groggy or like crap after eating some foods, but the desire for those foods and their instant effect is just too big. Oh, far too big. Far too big. But what I mean is, you don't know what's good for you. What you want and what you need are not aligned until you've been educated. That's the thing. If you're educated and in nutrition, for example, and you know what you need effectively, and you convert yourself to want the thing that you need, then your wants and your needs will have no friction between them. This is essentially true for me at the moment. When I get hungry, I'm like, man, I could really use a meal, like a real meal with some vegetables and some meat and something interesting to it. And I can know essentially that whatever I'm craving is probably what I want. And if I've got like a salty craving, I'll think maybe I don't have enough sodium in me. That's pretty interesting. How many times do you eat each day? That's hard to say. Usually three, essentially, and then I'll snack throughout. But usually three. Rob Kenny's YouTube channel, probably worth sticking in your thing. I'm not gonna stick any total YouTube channel. Dad, how do I? So car stuff and yeah, okay, this is cool. How do I plant a tree? How do I make some chili? What the fuck do I do about tires? How do I cook rice? Yeah, these are great. These are great. Let me go to popular. How do you shave? How do you tie a tie? Thank you, and I'm proud of you. All right, man. How to fix most toilets, bathtub drains. Yeah, this is all useful. I'll use some of these, but this is not what I'm looking at. It's close. It's close, but it's not quite what I'm going for. I'll definitely steal some of them. How many times do I eat each day? Well, I'll just break it down. So I wake up, I go outside, I have electrolytes and sunlight, and do some stretching and basic stretching and exercise. Okay, and then I come back inside and I make the protein shake, this one, and that's my first meal. So my first meal is about 400 calories. It's milk, protein powder, and peanut butter. That's what I have. Today I also had some oats with some berries in them, so that was an add-on to my meal. And then with that, I'll have my vitamins. Just because taking capsules full of powder, you need something in your stomach, and I've found that a milk-based fatty substance in your stomach seems to do the best at coating your stomach and preventing any uncomfortability from the vitamins and minerals. So I'll eat that. Then it's to get ready for the day. It's like it's all getting ready time. So it's shower, tea, whatever is going on. At this point, I'm figuring out the scheduling there because the daily brew is right then, right? Like I'm usually we're kind of rushing to get ready by 10 a.m. and then the daily brew starts. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Super Base. I'm usually rushing to get the tea going and get the daily brew going and all that jazz. And then it's solidly hours. I don't eat again until my next recording, which usually is, I'll usually finish, if I'm lucky, I'll finish by 2 p.m. So that's like 4 hours, 5 hours later, because I'll have the breakfast between 9 and 10 a.m. as I'm waking up and doing all those things. So it takes until I finish my real recording of the day. Usually is when I eat. After that's done, I'll go and I'll eat. And recently I've been eating outside just because I like doing it and it's nice and I get to sit outside and relax for a second, especially after I've watched and spoken for a couple hours about a banger episode of anime. I'd like to go outside and just chill because I've been focusing on my screens and focusing on my computing and all that stuff. Go outside, be able to see a horizon line and some sky and some sunlight and all that jazz. And then I'll have a full meal then. And I have my meal prep meals, but that'll change. And then after that, I'll come back in and I'll do editing and stuff and whatnot. If I'm going to the gym, before the gym, as I make my pre-workout and stuff, I'll sometimes have a snack, and that will be like the bread and honey or something along those lines, is to eat that. Go to the gym, come back from the gym, have a protein shake and the whole smoothie thing. And then a couple hours after that, I'll have another meal, and then I'm done. And that's it. That's what I'll eat in a day. The real question is, when is your first poop? It depends. It wasn't previously right when I woke up. This morning it was right when I woke up. The day before that, as you know, because I started the brew and then I was like, I have to go and poop. It was after I'd had my electrolytes and hydration and started getting breakfast in me and stuff. That triggered the stomach to start going. Because very often having your food or having your morning coffee is what people use as the biomarker or the cutoff line to transition between not pooping and the pooping, you know? So like that, something along those lines is where I poop. I pooped first thing in the morning this morning, and it was like a perfect quality ghost poop where you just poop and then it's just gone and it's good. Perfect quality poop. Really, really good stuff. Let's go check out the what in the world is worth being thankful for. Living Education by Cularis. Wow, that is a good one, Cularis. Keep hitting us with the good ones, dude. I love it. YouTube storytelling, ability to learn, family and friends. Nothing Gets Over for Me by Sad. That is sad. Freedom to have multiple paths to live. Animation, people who love and care, nice interactions, music weekend. Artistic expression, supportive friends, health, family and friends. Sad. Okay. Everything. Okay. Tease Mawaru Penguin drum analysis. I'm glad that makes you thankful. That's cool. Critical thinking, passion, manga, potatoes, bread machine, tea existing, flushed. Why, thank you. Well, I'll put one in there, the one that I really wanted to say. All of my patrons. Because that's what I'm thankful for. I'm absolutely blown away and incredibly far beyond grateful for this life that I get to lead at your behest. Because some 1,000 of you, and oddly, while my income has gone down, the number of patrons I have has gone up quite a bit. I mean, quite a bit. Some 1,000 of you have decided that what I'm doing is somehow worthwhile, and decided that in the light of that worthiness, you can and should support me. And so when it comes down to gratitude, I am grateful for my continued existence, which comes only at the whim, you might say, of the population of anime YouTube. A community which a lot of people look at with sort of a raised eyebrow and a sidelong glance, like, anime? The anime community? Those fuckers are weird. Yeah, they are. And I'm one of them. But they make my life happen. They make me capable of eating it all and not being in poverty. So, thank you all for that support. It means a ton. It's no mere whimsy you make solid and worthwhile products. I thank you. Thank you for saying so. I'm trying to, I really am. But it isn't whimsy, it is still a whim. It's still, there's nothing that demands that you give me the money, right? And especially now that I've phased out early access, you get essentially nothing for it except my continued existence. And so it really is a whim. You have to want to. So that's really why I put this as the stream, because I wanted to talk seriously this morning on Thanksgiving, as we have this holiday that has lost a lot of its meaning, if it ever had any. You know, I really plan to be a patron and properly join the community after I get employed. Thank you, Shu. Appreciate it. It's a worthy goal. Get yourself employed. Figure out the world a little bit. Get a little smidgen of not just, power is such a fraught word, but it's not what I mean. I don't mean power. I mean capacity. Because they're the same word, power and capacity, but power feels oppressive, right? And capacity feels emboldening. Control over life? Yeah, capacity. Yeah, I mean, we're not giving you money out of some kind of pity. You make actually interesting content that's worth something. I hope so. And that's true, but it doesn't, there are plenty of people who make interesting content and they haven't figured out a way to monetize it at all. And I might not have figured out a great way either, and it might be on the decline. We'll see. Agency? Yeah, Max Tax. Agency's up there. Agency's definitely in there. Jan Nikovsky writes, sometimes I think my grind isn't worth anything, but looking at you and people like you makes me more hopeful that maybe someday I will be at where you are at. I think that's worthwhile to be able to point toward goals, but don't look at me as like the goal, right? Look beyond me. Right? Line yourself up. If you see me as being like above or ahead of you, right? If you're following in my footsteps, look where I'm going. Don't just follow me, okay? Blindly following my path is not what I want. I want you to have your own agency. Penguin Outlaw says, your discussions and views, I mean, I've seen you in here forever. Your discussions and views on anime have really pushed me into thinking about how I view media and if I should seriously go even further from here than just watching or not. I don't know what you mean by if I should seriously go even further from here, but I will say this. I think that a lot of professions are going to be automated. A lot of things are going to be automated. And so far as I can tell, really communicating with other human beings about art and culture and media and stuff is something that we can't automate because it's too complicated. So if there's something in the space of art or communication or film or something filled with love and passion that is in any way close to your heart, man, you gotta jump in and you gotta pursue that shit. Hey, Allie. Today I give my thanks to you. See ya, brother. See ya. Always good to see ya. Kikuri says that they don't find the shows that I'm currently watching interesting. Fair enough. They're just here for the streams. You get the reactions elsewhere. Fair enough. Here's what I'll say is that those shows may be more interesting to you than you would think otherwise. Oh, shit, Conway. You can't hit me with that just right away. I'm thankful for Amsa Red Yoshi. Woohoo, the spicy thanks. I'm thankful for that Yoshi too, dude. That Yoshi is baller. That Yoshi blows my mind. And then I pick up the character and I'm like, just fucking stupid. Reach the Zora. Hey, that's something interesting talking about. Some months ago, I found out I have Asperger's in my 22s. These months have been pretty rough, but I think I'm finally finding what I am and what I enjoy and want to do. Much love, man. I'm a little bit spectrum-y myself. Just a smidge. Not diagnosable tier, as far as I know. But it's a continuum, and you're no less valid or valuable or human. And so what I'll say is that I'm really glad that you've figured out some of who you are and where you're coming from, because that can inform how you interact with the world and how you treat yourself. And you know, I found out pretty recently that without having gone and gotten a diagnosis, which I should probably do, but I don't really care because it's good enough, it's helpful enough. I found out pretty recently that I'm in the ADHD category fairly effectively. And finding that out, you think that finding a diagnosis like that is going to hurt or cause a problem, and it's the exact opposite. Finding it out has helped me seek out and look for tools that have helped me immensely in maintaining and increasing and improving my focus and attention and general abilities. And also, I mean, it's fluctuating and it's kind of all over the place, and you can tell that based on the upload schedule over the last couple of weeks. It's all fucked. But knowing is half the battle, at least. So I'm glad you found out. I'm glad you feel like you're finally finding what and who you are. Because you've got a body brain that you pilot around because you're a conscious entity that's sort of weirdly disconnected from it. And you've got this mecha suit that you pilot around. And it behooves you to know your own specs. To know how fast your internal mecha computer is, and whether it has any flaws, and how well you can punch, and whether you can fly and stuff. You know, it really behooves you to know that, and to know what you can change of it. And that's what's really interesting, is that you can change a lot of it. Super base. People are accustomed to the cutthroat capitalist transactional nature of everything, so people often need reminding to intentionally fund good work. Thanks for being and providing those reminders. Yeah, well, there's something about that I'll say, which is something that is worrying, and I was thinking about it last night and talking about it with a friend, is that I really do need to find something very solid to put as the $5 tier reward on Patreon, because giving nothing does not do it. It doesn't work. And the reason that I know this is this. The most valuable, most powerful site, probably, that I have used and continue to use, the greatest source of information and value in my life and the lives of millions of other people, is Wikipedia. The Wikimedia Foundation. And their product is totally free, and they are constantly struggling. So there needs to be something beyond just a reminder to intentionally fund good work. My family, says Gurgle Shorts, my family had me on powerful ADHD medication for many of my childhood years. Powerful stimulants in childhood do not mix well, suffice it to say. I would assume Ritalin or one of the amphetamines. And yeah, that'll blow your fucking dopaminergic systems out of the water real fast when you're a youngin'. It's really tragic, the number of kids who are getting totally wired, amped out of their gourds on meds for something that is actually induced in a lot of ways. Because what's really interesting is that ADHD related behaviors can be induced. You know what induces them? It's pretty simple, and you have one. Can literally induce the behaviors and behavioral systems. Now, childhood ADHD is slightly different, and many of the things are slightly different, but still important to say. Getting to know yourself is harder than it sounds. God damn, yes it is, Andre. Shu says, I like to listen to podcasts and YouTube essays when I'm traveling. Recently, I've come across Nietzsche, and I think the Ubermensch is supposed to be one's goal in life, the best version I can be. Yes, correct. So the way that I think about humanity is this. You're a person, you're a human, and you are a statue that is pushing up against a wall while you are building the wall. So you're pushing up against the wall hard enough that it breaks you while you build the wall itself. And as you're pushing it over and pushing it, what you don't realize is that the wall that you're pushing up against, which is so big to you, is actually just the very back inch of the ankle of a giant statue that is itself pushing up against a wall so hard that it breaks, and then building the wall that it doesn't realize, because it's so big to it, is the ankle of the next statue. So it's the idea of the forward one, of the future you, and the future you in not you, that is children or generations or humanity. It's the future you, and you can't see it even. You're pushing up against your own barriers, your own borders. And then what you don't realize is that by pushing up against your own borders, you're helping push the bigger future you forward, and you're helping manifest it and build it. Something like that. But I agree. I agree regarding the Ubermensch. Absolutely. Best version I can be of not only myself, but as a human being. A huge amount of that, absolutely, yes. A huge amount of that is externalizing yourself and thinking about people outside of you. It's not just about you. The way that you become a better human being is by trying to better the people around you. If you try to improve the lives of the people around you, it makes you happy. It actually does. Biologically, socially, it's biopsychosocial. It's internal, external, and truly deep-seated, deep-rooted internal. It's your functions and foundations is socialization and helping others. So it's not just of yourself as a human being, but it's also contributing to the generation of the Ubermensch that is not you, right? Because the Ubermensch as an idea is the future human, is the future human that could be. If everything was well, right? Then maybe your children or your children's children or your great-great-grandchildren could live in a sort of a paradise on earth, right? That's really the religious idea, is that paradise on earth is possible, and if you sacrifice yourself in order to get to it, you may or may not get there, but your children might, or their children might, or even if you don't have children, children might, right? There's something that could be. There's something grand that could be. And in some ways, that's the to bring it to a religious context, that's the Moses story, right? Everything is shit. Moses says, let's go, folks. And they go, and they wander around in hell land for a while. It's like not great. And they figure some shit out, but Moses doesn't even get to see the fruits of his labors. Why? Well, because most of us don't ever get to see the fruits of our labors. We live, we sacrifice our whole lives for the next generation, and then we die. And if you live your life like that, you'll probably live a fairly fulfilled life, and your children will probably have better lives. So it works. Like, it actually works. Anyway. Imagine if all those billionaires would actually share some of their money with projects like Wikipedia, and without expecting anything in return. Well, how about if they expected Wikipedia in return? That's what you get in return, is infinite access to free crowdsourced information. That's worth paying for. I donate to Wikipedia whenever they ask, regardless of how broke as fuck I am. Because I would not be nearly as capable a human being as I am if it were not for that site. I have read thousands of Wikipedia articles. Thousands of them. I look stuff up constantly, and I look it up about 60-40 when I'll just look for something on Google or look it up on the Wikipedia app itself. I miss when millionaires wanting an ego boost would fund libraries and hospitals. Some of them still do. Some of them still do. I wish that they did more. Yeah, I would say that I have some ADHD symptoms because of my very early internet access. Thank God it's manageable, but it's still very hard. Absolutely, it'll demolish your attention systems. I would say go and watch Andrew Huberman on attention. His podcast video on attention really, and ADHD, really changed my life, or changed my way of seeing things. So let's see. This one. ADHD and how anyone can improve their focus is the name of the video. Bam, boom. Let me remove that. Hold on. To be clear, Andrew Huberman is a neuroscientist and professor of neurobiology and ophthalmology at Stanford, and he makes free podcasts where he talks about science and how you can use it. Thank you, I will watch it. Go fucking watch it. It's amazing. Time to run. Bye, Gurgle. See ya. In terms of funding, I don't think expectations or well-set goals are bad. I've seen many startup companies with big funds that still failed just because they misused their funds for table football. 100%, man. 100%. Helping others makes you a better person. I agree, but I also feel this innate hatred I have for others. Why do I have to work so hard for their love when they get it inherently is what I feel. Okay, Shu, that's called resentment. That's what you're dealing with. That's what that's called. That's resentment. And there's a reason. I'm going to take it back to a religious context, because religious contexts are really useful for explaining some of these things. Just as stories, they're really useful, okay? The first story in the damn stupid Bible thing, right after the whole weird Garden of Eden psychobiosocial fucking bullshit about how the world starts and it's really an evaluation of consciousness. The first story is there are two brothers, and one of them is a shepherd and he makes some sacrifices, and one of them is an agriculturalist, a farmer, and he makes some sacrifices, and the world goes, the shepherd gets all the rewards and the agriculturalist farmer doesn't. And so the farmer gets really pissed at his brother, gets really resentful, and then he kills him. And then he goes on to be the father of humanity, right? The brother who was good is not our lineage, religiously, spiritually. The brother who killed his own brother is our forefather, religiously, spiritually. Broad strokes, myths, okay? I don't fucking believe that Cain and Abel were real human beings necessarily, but they're a great archetypal representation of hostility and resentment and what it does to you. So that's the issue here. Why do I have to work so hard for their love when they get it inherently? Because the world ain't fucking fair, bro. That's it. That's it. If you reach out to them with compassion, if you look and you really evaluate them, here's what you're going to find. You're going to find that they do not get it innately. They do not get it inherently. They've been working for it too. You need to have some compassion. Because everybody's hurting, man. Everybody. And if you really start to talk to the people in your life, the ones who seem to have their shit together, you're going to find tragedy one step removed from them. A brother with cancer, a mom who's dying, gout in their leg, they have cancer. Their kid died. They had a miscarriage 2 years ago and they're destroyed by it. Every single person has tragedy near them in their life. Nobody is getting it inherently. The ones who seem happy and well-adjusted are either putting on a facade or they've figured some shit out. They've figured some shit out in terms of how they relate themselves to the struggle, the constant flood, the terrible storm. So what you'll find is we're all blowing around in a hurricane. We're all, ah! And you'll see, as you look around, you'll see some people who are like rooted and they're not moving in the hurricane. And you can look at them and go, fuck that person. They're naturally heavier than me, asshole. But if you go and you get closer to them, what you'll find is that their feet are dug into the ground and they're holding on for dear life and they're working. And they're holding themselves together. And they're being an anchor for themselves and the world around them. And what you'll find is that if you emulate them, you can become an anchor as well. And what you can do is you can grab other people who are floating around and hold them to you. And hold them down. And I'm talking, you start with your family. You start with the people closest to you. First, you start with yourself. Get yourself in order. Get on a solid foundation. Don't build your castles on sand. Build yourself on an understanding of you, an understanding of the world, and on an understanding of life, on an understanding that pain exists and that you have to orient yourself in relation to it. And the best thing that I've found for that is getting inside a cold shower, because cold showers are fucking painful, and you have to look at it and you have to like, you have to get into it. You have to solidify all your foundations and like actually hold yourself together and get in. And once you're in the shower, it's your basics that hold you through. It's your ability to self-regulate, to create homeostasis, to breathe consciously, and it's your ability to do that. So foster that ability, become stronger, and then have compassion for all the people who are fucked, because everybody's fucked. Everybody's fucking fucked. and you look around, you think that everybody's doing okay, but there is so much pain behind those fake smiles. And if you find somebody who's really smiling genuinely, fucking marry them. I mean, really, tie yourself to their ass and go like, let's go, baby. Let's go. I don't mean this literally marry them. I mean, like, tie yourself to them. Go, hey, you've got something that I want. We're friends now, and I'm going to follow you around like a puppy. I'm going to figure out what shit you've got going on. I do this at the gym because I know a lot of stuff that a lot of people at the gym don't know, and that lets me communicate effectively to some of the big guys, to some of like the serious gym head folks, and some of the like the trainers and stuff, because they give me respect. Is interesting at the gym because I come in and I lift with almost immaculate form, performing exercises that most people can't do with obvious flexibility and like knowledge. I'm going in and I'm doing things properly. Like really properly, and it's really obvious that I'm doing them properly. And so I get some of the trainers at the gym coming up and going like, shit, man, you've got it. You're on it. Holy shit, your squats are awesome, right? But I'm also following them around and going like, what the fuck is that guy doing? The fuck is he doing? Now I've got a friend at the gym, who I met. I met him and his wife because they were coming to the gym. And the first thing that I noticed was that his wife was like 6.5 to 7 months pregnant, like really, really pregnant. And she was doing full ass deep squats, full ass to grass deep squats while pregnant. It's like, wow. And you look at the guy in this couple and he is yoked, just absolutely beefed, right? And he is loading up like 400 pounds for squats and repping them out solidly, full depth, full range. So I saw that guy, I was like, that guy's about to be my friend. He's my friend now. We've been friends for like 6 months. Every time I see him or his wife, I'm like, hi, hello, how are you? How's your... They had their kid a few months ago, and they've been, they're doing great. And she was back in the gym like 2 weeks after having her kid. She was back in the gym lifting, and she looks great, and she's doing wonderfully, and he's doing wonderfully, and their kid is being raised effectively as far as I can tell. And like, I want to be near those people because they know some shit that I need. They know some shit. Anyway, all of this is just, what I'm saying is, helping others makes you a better person. Here's what happens. It makes you a better person, and then when you help other people, they help you back. They don't even realize that they're doing it. And some of it is like guilt driven in a weird selfishy way. It's like people don't like to be beholden to other people. People don't like to owe you a debt. So when you do something nice for somebody, you can actually, if they're well adjusted, you can actually expect that down the line they'll be thinking about it almost resentfully, like, God, I hate that you did something nice for me because now I have to do something nice for you. And they'll actively seek out a way to assist you in some way. It's really interesting. And it comes back to that idea of like, cast your bread upon the waters and it will be returned to you sevenfold. As far as I can tell, that seems to be true. Socially. It's really interesting. We'll see, as I expand upon that idea and try to do it more, we'll see how it goes. We will really see how it goes, because I think I'm getting really close to hitting critical mass in terms of friends and connections in the gym space, particularly. It's to the point where any portion of the space, the large building that I walk into, it's like 90+% chance that there's somebody that I know pretty effectively that I've spoken to or given or received advice from or lifted next to or worked in with for a set, or somebody that I'm like friends with, somebody that I can walk over and be like, sup, how's it going? And give them a fist bump and be part of the social entity of the space. And I think there's a critical mass in there somewhere where I'll go from being somebody who's a part of the space to being somebody who is part and parcel to the space, where my presence there is a known quantity. And I think things will change significantly when that happens. I've already noticed that things have changed significantly. There's a social proofing that goes on. When you're casually social with people in an environment, other people notice it and they go, well, what the fuck is going on over there? What's happening over there? And and they're more open to your conversation and communication. If they see you go and communicate with multiple people in the gym, then when you cold approach them, it doesn't feel as weird or awkward because you're part of the social entity of the space more than just some random guy going and approaching them. And I mean this specifically in terms of women, but I do this with men constantly too. Is I constantly go up to men and I talk to them about the workouts that they're doing, and I'll ask them questions or I'll give them advice. It's usually one or the other, or sometimes both. But I'll always start it with like a compliment and go into like, wow, that's really cool. Hey, I was doing that too. And by the way, I found out that this thing worked really well for me. You might want to try it. Did this yesterday. There was a dude who was squatting next to me, and he loads up some weight, and he's squatting relatively heavy. And I'm looking at his form, and his form is really great. Like, he's obviously done squats for a while. His form is great. His drive is great. And I see him, he's like really pushing himself to the limit and beyond. It's like, okay, dude gets it. But he's wearing shoes with squishy soles, like running shoes. And so his feet are wobbling all over the place. And so when he finished his set and he caught his breath a little bit, I waved him down and waved his headphones out, and he took out his headphones. He's like, well, yeah, what's up? And I did it, but I was like, thumbs up. Yeah, wow, big squats, wow. And I literally just said, hey, man, your squats are fucking great and your drive to succeed is incredible, but your shoes fucking suck. And he went, what? What do you mean my shoes suck? I was like, you're lifting on clouds. They're squishy. Just try taking them off and squat barefoot. He's like, really? Why? I show him the shoes that I'm wearing. They're flat sole. I'm like, you're trying to force transfer into the ground, man. You don't want any squish there. He goes, oh, that kind of makes sense. Takes his shoes off, does the set, comes out of the set with a huge smile like, oh my God, whoa, wow, that's simple, right? Just interacting with people. And what's interesting is that there was a couple who were working out down the way from me, a little bit further away. And they began an interaction with me a few minutes later that was in the same realm of talking about form and function and shoes and things, specifically because they had seen me interact with that other person and give advice. So what does that say? It says that actively seeking interactions with people fosters the ability for others to actively seek interactions with you, especially in public spaces. If you demonstrate a willingness to speak to others, others will be more willing to speak to you, which is to say, if you're a normal, well-socialized person, by giving of yourself socially, you will receive more socially. Pretty interesting. If this thing with anime won't work out for some reason, you could totally go and be a gym trainer. I'm actually planning to do both. That's kind of part of the goal. I very much enjoy teaching people how to lift. And I'm quite good at it. And I have the background in both education and in the lifting itself and in the biomechanics stuff. At least some of it. And I'm constantly learning it. So gathering that information and explaining it is quite useful. The issue is that I would really need to get certified because most places won't hire an uncertified coach. And that's a bit of a problem because I don't want to get certified because the certifications actually suck. How long have you been going to the gym so far? Recently, in terms of going consistently, it's like a year and a half. But totally go and be a gym trainer. Yeah, I don't like the certifications because most of the, I forget what the ACE certification and there's one that starts with an N. Most of them they're actually wrong. The science and the techniques and stuff that they teach are actually fundamentally incorrect. Like provably so. Our kinesiology knowledge is to the point where we know that the models that they use, especially the imbalance model of health, where it's like, oh, everything that you have to do is to ameliorate and fix muscle imbalances, is like, that's not it. You need to get people strong. Once they're fucking strong, it's a problem. Okay, I got a couple of other comments to mention. Just a little acts of kindness throughout the day will make your day better. Just giving a simple compliment took me so far. Yeah, man. One compliment per day. If you... Real thing that I really did was that for a couple of weeks, every time I go to the gym, I have to give at least one person one random compliment. Well, here's what ended up happening. I ended up going and speaking to a bunch of beautiful women and complimenting them on something other than their beauty, which is really, really helpful. In the process, I befriended a number of them, like actually befriended them, got to know their names, lifted with them, talk to them about what they were doing and what their goals were, how they were doing, what they did for work, their lives, you know, treated them like humans. And they fucking light up when you treat them like humans. And I stopped being able to help myself. So the rule was do 1 every time you go to the gym. And I would end up doing 3, 4, 5. Because it's addicting. It's actually addicting. There's a real rush, a real feeling of joy in speaking to and communicating and connecting with another human being in a positive way. It's really addicting. So that's an idea there, is that you can actually addict yourself to positive behaviors. And that's habituation. That's effectively what this book teaches you to do, is to habituate yourself and to routinize the behaviors that you want and to remove the ones that you don't. So, for example, making a habit, or an addiction you might say, to going and communicating with attractive women, which is to the point right now. It's to an interesting point, which is that when I see a really attractive woman at the gym, I have a very hard time not going up and speaking to them. Which is exactly the opposite of the way that it was for forever. For the whole of my life period, and for most people's lives. Jesus. Anime gym trainer. Yeah, you know, there is that guy who's like, if you train like this, if you want to look like this character, if you want to look like Naruto, train like this. If you want to look ripped as shit like Goku, train like this. And those are all kind of garbage videos, but he's not bad. He's having fun. Kikuri Rinon says, how long you been going? Again, 1.5 years consistently, but before that, I lifted in college, and I've been researching and understanding lifting and exercise science for 6, 7. College was then 9 years. I'm 28, so 9 years. 9 years. Oh, wait, no. It would have been since I was 16, because I started with my friend in high school. So it would have been 12 years. 12 years that I've been interested in exercise science. Most of that time I have not been very effective. Quite recently I've been getting a little bit more effective, and I'm shredded as fuck right now. My body fat percentage is so low. My muscular endurance and general strength is so high. I recently, just this early morning, I used the Gata outside, and it's amazing that my body works. It's so cool. Have you seen the memes for what happens at New Year's when all the new people start at the gym for the first time? Over and over. Yeah, it happens constantly. People tell themselves that they want to do certain things, and then, well, they don't actually know how to habituate, right? So if you want to get your New Year's resolutions to work, here's a New Year's resolution for you. Read all of Atomic Habits. That's your resolution. Just do that. Fuck everything else. Shu says, then how do I become a well-adjusted, socially well person in the first place? I'm not a NEET. I do have a future financially, but on a personal level, I find myself completely alone. Welcome to the modern day. So this is the big problem that I'm facing. Not me facing personally for myself, because I live with people, and that's really important. But a lot of people live alone. And I would guess, Shu, that you probably have a job and you probably live in an apartment, right? Like maybe a 1-bedroom apartment or something similar. I'm assuming that you don't live with your family, but if you do live with your family, then you're probably disconnected from them and you feel very alone. I don't know the answer. I don't really know the answer. Most of the answers that get given seem really flippant and like off, just not correct. The gym is the best thing that I know. Gym or CrossFit is communal. Jiu-jitsu, as far as I know as well, like any sort of communal competitive thing can be really good. But I think the gym really works. I think it really, really works because you're in a space with people. You just have to be in a space with the people. I don't know. It's hard. This is hard. The reason that I say it in this way is that truly the problem that you are stating is the problem that I'm facing that I want to solve. Now, the overall problem that I want to solve is I want to slay contempt for being. That's my real, like, big goal, is kill contempt for being, which is to say eliminate its existence and strength over the youth of the world. But the other problem is how do you socialize people? And the answer, I think, is watch anime with people, show other people anime, because it contains the stories of how to do that, of how to get out of yourself, right? Like Mushoku Tensei it has that story in it. It's like, go outside of your house. Go outside. It's really the first step. And then go up to and talk to people and break down your walls. Break down your walls. But I don't know the answer exactly. I know that I've been able to do it. I've been able to do it by forcing myself to. I've been able to do it because I live with friends. I live with people. And that's really helpful. I actually think that living with people is really important. Especially if you, like me, are or were not in a place where you can take care of a household on your own. Because I think when you can fully take care of a household on your own, and potentially or effectively, and there's a reason that it used to be this way, when you're looking to engage in a long-term committed relationship, that's when you should live alone. And by alone, I mean live with the person that you're in a relationship with and try to build a family, right? But living alone seems to be killing people. I'll bet if you look at the statistical correlation between suicide rates and people who live alone, it's not just correlated a little bit. It's probably correlated a lot. But I don't know exactly. I think living with people has really affected my life in positive ways, but it really depends on the people you live with, so that's tough. Well, here's something. I've got a friend who just a few days ago reached out to a friend of his from high school that he hadn't talked to in years. And he told me this will be the first time that I've talked to anybody from high school outside of high school. And he invited the guy to dinner. Just a friend, invited the guy to dinner, and they went and they had dinner together. And they talked and caught up. And he came back home, he was like, that was really helpful. That was a really good thing to do. I'm so glad that I was capable of holding on to this relationship. That friend was really important to me. So there's something to do, is to go through all of the bridges that you've allowed to fray. Not burned, not like you've called the person an asshole and told them to never speak to you again, but like bridges that you've allowed to just slip away, or friendships that you've allowed to just falter. Go and see if there are any of those that you could revitalize. And just be like, hey, it's been so fucking long. How you doing? You doing all right? And I mean, mean it, mean it and have a plan. And the plan would be like, are you still in X town? If so, I want to check out this place. Let's go grab coffee and catch up. Let's go grab a meal and catch up, something like that. Jan says, I recently complimented an elderly woman that I found very beautiful. She genuinely was so happy to hear that, was open enough to tell me how hard it was for her. We had such a lovely chat. Man, speaking to old people is sick. It's so sick. I really love older folks. I've got a couple of older neighbors, and they're wonderful. Some of my favorite people to talk to, especially the woman of the house, because she's a bit of a firecracker. She's a bit insane, and I love it. I love it. I have a hard time approaching college classmates, let alone strangers, especially females. The whole customs, religious vibes, and traditions here in Egypt aren't very helpful either, though I'm trying my best to be more open and better at communicating without being an awkward, anxious mess. So here's what I will say. My first girlfriend, well, not really my first girlfriend, but my first serious girlfriend was born and raised in Cairo and fled as a foreign student during the 2011 revolution thing. So that was my first girlfriend. Men mistreated her entire life while she was in Egypt, and her father mistreated her heavily. She was the most sexually awakened and kinky person that I've ever been with. So here's the thing that I would say about all of the traditions, religious vibes, and customs that are there in Egypt. You just have to scratch under the surface, man. Because under a lot of that repression is some real, like, feminine sexuality and some real humanity. So all you got to do is treat some of those women like they're people. Because most of the men are not treating them like they're people. And so you can really, really stand out. How about that as an idea? So, oppression, repression, tradition, society, all those things, bad, yada, yada. But if you want to go against the flow a little bit and treat those women like they're human beings and sexual human beings, because they are, they will glomp onto you, man. I mean, really, I don't care what you look like. I don't care who you are or how wealthy you are. If you just look them in the eye, if you just look them in the eye and treat them like something more than an object and figure out what's going on in their complicated, multifaceted, interesting lives, and I don't mean manipulatively, you know, I'm talking about it in selfish terms, in terms of what you can get out of it. But remember, when you treat other people well, you get rewards. When you sacrifice of yourself, you get more. So cast your bread in terms of your attention and affection and love, like love in terms of empathy, love in terms of belief in other people, love in terms of connection. Cast that out upon the waters of the people that you meet, and it will be fucking returned to you. I mean, it'll be returned to you, man. Woohoo. All right. Trying my best to be more open and better at communicating without being an awkward, anxious mess. That's hard. What's the confidence on demand guy? Confidence on command. That guy. Charisma on command. So charisma on command kind of does good stuff and does go away. And also does garbage stuff. It's all
Reeves has become the internet's
Shut up, dude. Shut up. I know you're great. Whatever. I'll just drop the channel link. This is the channel Charisma on Command, and I think it's very useful. There's at least some very useful information here by this person on how to be charismatic and how to engage with other people even when it's hard. Part of it is actually very, very literally like shoulders back. How you physically hold yourself has a massive impact not only on how others see you, but on how you see yourself. And it's just like we've all been told, and the science is correct and is accurate, that if you physically force yourself to smile for like 15 to 20 seconds, it completely changes your brain chemistry. Which is to say that emotion follows behavior. You don't feel confident, but if you act confident, you'll feel confident. You don't feel like smiling, but if you smile, you'll feel like smiling. And it will actually actively, genuinely change your neurochemistry and biology. Okay? And here's the thing. When you act more confident, shoulders back, stand up straight, head high, eyes forward, eyes to the future, and you look people in their eyes, right? You don't look down below them. And this is kind of tough for me because I'm at about chest height for most people. So I look most women in the tits, and I look most men in the belly. But I look them in the eye. Look them in the eye, shoulders back, head up. You will actually be more confident. And people will see you being more confident, and they will respond to you as if you are acting confidently. And that social element of reflection reinforces your confidence in behavior and in actuality. Okay? So physically doing it changes your biological structure and makes you stand up straight and feel good, which actually feels good. It feels good to sit up or stand up straight. It feels correct. And that changes your neurochemistry because it tells you, I'm the kind of person who is standing up straight. And your brain is actually kind of dumb, and it goes, well, I guess if my body is standing up straight, I must have something to be confident in. I must have some reason for feeling. This is actually very interesting. I'm now fully smiling, and I'm not doing that consciously. That's just a part of what's happening. It's because I smiled for 15 seconds before. It's hard. I'm in a very smiley and happy state now because my neurochemistry has actively been altered by my own behavior. Your emotion follows your behavior. You will never desire to go and do the thing. Go do the thing. The process of doing the thing is what makes you desire it. Crazy idea, but true. Okay. Yo, actually setting concrete plans. Otherwise, it'll be the perpetual, hey, we should catch up sometime, and then years pass until the next, we should catch up sometime. Yeah, no, fuck that. Are you in place? Let's go here. You free on Saturday? No, not on Saturday afternoon. What about lunch? You want to grab lunch? Can't do lunch? What about breakfast? What about coffee? What about 20 minutes, chat, coffee? Come on. I'll pick you up, right? Like, remove barriers, make concrete plans, make something happen. It's rad. Shu, the community of anime enjoyers are so big now. If you want, you can absolutely find someone. Discords or cons are there. It's much easier to find people by having mutual interests. Absolutely. Fake it till you make it works in this context. It absolutely does, Supabase, to some extent. But the goal is to make it, not to fake it, right? You're acting out the behavior in order to entrench the behaviors and to identify as the kind of person who performs those behaviors. I am the kind of person who walks around with his shoulders high and his head held back and a smile on his face and who makes eye contact with every damn person in the gym, whether they're mean mugging me or have their head down or are an awkward girl with like hoodie up and long pants, right? Because she's trying to hide her body so that men don't ogle her in the gym. I see this constantly. Smiling, looking at them. Shu says, whenever I actively try to make eye contact, my mind automatically goes, stare at which eye? Right here. Right here. You don't have to look at their eyes. That's the thing. You just have to look close enough that it looks like you're looking at their eyes. You can just fake it. You can actually just fake it. Look right here. Focus on the point in the center of their head. And once you're actually speaking to them, look at one eye and then the other. Just look at whichever one you want to. It doesn't matter which one. They won't actually be able to tell the difference. Like, okay, so I'm looking at a screen with myself, which is about as if I were 6 or 7 feet away from myself in terms of general overall size, in terms of my framing. I'm looking at my right eye. I'm looking at my left eye. You can't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference. I'm alternating continuously over the course of speaking right now. I'm looking back and forth. You can't tell the difference. And now I'm looking at the center of my forehead. You can't tell the difference. And I've arranged my camera setup so that the image of me is right next to the camera so that I'm looking close enough to the camera. If I look directly at the camera lens, sup, that's a little bit different because you can see that my eyes are up now. They don't look like they're looking at you. Here, they look like they're looking close enough to looking at you. But what I'm actually looking at is right here on myself. Kulera says, whenever I am in a social place like high school or currently work, I don't know why, but I always isolate myself from everyone else. Like when I was in high school, I used to just stare at the wall for the whole day and wish someone would talk to me. Yep. Yeah. You and 90 bajillion other people just sit there and wait for somebody else to talk to you. Well, here's the problem. If everybody's sitting there waiting for somebody else to talk to them, nobody's talking to anybody else. Nobody is. You have to be the one. 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 Especially, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, this sucks. I've had to just come to terms with this. Wouldn't it be great if women just asked men out? It totally would. And when you find one who does ask you out, go the fuck out with her and figure out what's going on. Don't reject her. And encourage the behavior if you can. Be like, well, I'm not interested in you, but yeah, let's go on a date, girl. Let's go. Sure. But nobody's going to come and talk to you. Nobody's going to come and be a Prince Charming on a horse or whatever, right? And lift you out of the depths and pull you out and go like, you deserve friendship. You have to be that person. So here's what you do. You start looking around yourself. You know what you look like and feel like when you're exhibiting those behaviors. That is to say, when you're sitting around, staring at a wall, isolating yourself, wishing that somebody else would talk to you. At the gym, I see this all the time. Hoodie up, headphones in, staring at stuff, just doing the workout. Sometimes that's just focus, and sometimes you see it, and then they're looking up and glancing around anxiously at everyone around them, right? That's different. And what happens when you walk out to them and go, just that. Like, literally just that. It's like, a connection. Eye contact for a fraction of a second. And sometimes you'll get bashful and wistful and like terrified, but most of the time you'll get, oh my God, a connection. You know what those people look like, and you know how it feels, and it's miserable, right? And you know that they're sitting there waiting for somebody to come and talk to them, for an angel to arrive, for a hero, okay? Be a hero. Be the hero. It doesn't take that much effort, but it does take pain. It takes the pain of overcoming the fact that they might reject you. But they won't. But they won't. Because they need attention and affection. And as far as I can tell, everyone that I've met has been starved for communication. From the clerk at the supermarket, who, by the way, I saw again, and he was kind of smiling. And as soon as he saw us, he was like, "Hey!" I was like, "Hey, you been drawing?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been drawing." I was like, "You get new paper?" He's like, "No, but I got an art book that I've been using charcoal for." I'm like, "Okay, rad. That's what I'm talking about, man." He's like, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. It's keeping my head above water. It's keeping me alive." It's like, "Yeah, dude, sick." You make a connection with them. Reach the Zora. I'm using a similar concept when learning new things. Sometimes you don't have motivation, but if you do the things anyway, motivation tends to come in the process. Yep. Yeah. Motivation is for losers. Willpower is for suckers. And I've been a sucker for a long time, so I feel confident in saying that. Willpower and motivation are for suckers. Tradition and habit, ritual, routine. That shit works. Over the last week, I have woken up around 9 a.m. every day. Because I've routinized it. And every day I go outside and I get some sunlight, and I get my electrolytes and my vitamins in me, and they're routine. And I read some of a book, because it's a routine. And I get my tea in me, because it's a routine. And a lot of those mornings, I wake up and I'm like, I really want to stay in bed where it is warm and cozy. I don't really want to do the work today. No, I don't really want to do the work today. No, I don't really want to do the work today. No, I don't really want to do the work today. But then I go and I do the work, and it's like, well, I guess I actually did want to do the work today. Because the work is happening, and I'm enjoying it, and I feel okay. You do the thing. Shut the fuck up and do the thing. Move. Jan Nikovsky, the posture and smiling is no joke. I think it makes me much more approachable for guys. Yes. Funny how that works, even if I'm not the prettiest in the gym. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, so there's the other thing is, I think that the prettiest girls in the gym get approached way less, and in all circumstances. They get approached by people with no filter. By people who don't care, who don't give a shit. Those are the people who approach the prettiest girls, as far as I can tell, because they don't give a shit, and they don't care about rejection. Here's the problem. The people who don't give a shit, and the people who are actually not good people, there seems to be some correlation. Like the genuine bad boys who are fully counterculture and have antisocial personality disorders and don't do well with authority and may have criminal backgrounds and have no self-restraint. Those are the people who most frequently are capable of approaching beautiful women because they have no self-restraint. They have no desire to restrain themselves. And so the whole structure that's like, ooh, it would be really cringy if I go up to this girl and get rejected doesn't exist inside their heads. They just do it. So what's the issue? The issue is that most of the most beautiful girls that I know, as far as I can tell, and I'm sort of putting some assumptions here because having these conversations is really hard. As far as I can tell, get approached not at all, and when they do get approached, they get approached by monsters who tear them apart, who lie and cheat and steal because they have none of those. They're not socialized, actually. They're just monsters. The big Chad tatted guy, right? The fuckboy. The truly a fuckboy. It's really interesting. Miyoka, do you plan more live streams in the future? 10 a.m., baby, every fucking day. Every day, baby. Maybe once in a while I'll chime in. Hey, you can come in and do other stuff. Has he shown you his drawings? No, because he's a supermarket attendant. He works at a liquor store. And so it would be weird. So, I haven't asked. Man, women, says Shu. Since like forever, I met this girl that I felt truly connected to, and she turned out to be gay. Rough. Kind of funny, really. Well, good for her at least. She had a partner too. That is really good for her. You should be friends with her as much as possible. It's just hard. It's just hard when you're attracted to somebody to remain friends with them. I've been really working on that, and I'm looking toward doing that. Which is to say, befriending some of the most attractive women at the gym and then not trying to sleep with them. Oh God, I hate it. Oh, and like actively attempting to be in close physical proximity with them and then not trying to sleep with them. And trying to keep my wibbly bits from getting hard. Being near attractive women, and just pheromonally, it changes us. Very, very consistently. Very sincerely and consistently. Just being near attractive women, it's like, it changes us. And that's really rough because I've been wearing some pretty thin shorts. It's interesting. It's not that interesting. What I will say is this. I want, as a challenge for myself, to get really close to some of these women who I find magnetically, overwhelmingly beautiful, and then to stay as close to them as I can for as long as I can, and to try to teach them how to lift. Because teaching somebody to lift means like trading places continuously around the barbell and being in close proximity and like and touching them in places with consent and boundaries established and stuff. But touching them in places to cue certain muscle activations, like, no, you need to tighten here. This one, you got to tighten here. This one, that one, hold it steady like this. And you know, you put the barbell here, it goes here under your under the spine of your scapula, and your elbow has to be back, and you got to lock it. It's like touch and communication and connection and stuff, and then without the intent of trying to sleep with the woman. Sounds like the hardest, literally hardest thing that I've ever done, and I've done some of it, and it's been very difficult. But here's the thing: it is like being on a roller coaster. It's an adrenaline rush like nothing else I've ever experienced. Is just being in that proximity in like a restrained and non-sexualized state. Close proximity, really tempted, not doing anything about it, confident in my ability to not do anything about it, withheld, under control, not foolish, not fidgeting and moving around. Sounds like edging, lol. Yeah, kind of, actually. It's like social edging, right? That's actually exactly what it is. It's social edging. And well, edging, masturbatory edging, is getting yourself more comfortable with the state of being close to ejaculation, to climax, right? Because once climax happens, it's all over one way or another, and usually it's way worse, right? Like staying in that state of that unknown is very fun. So I think the same thing is true socially, is like social edging and tension building and maintaining. Could work, could be really interesting, and we'll see what happens. I have a theory. I have a theory about this, and the theory is this: if I avoid designating interest, girls will all either think and assume that I'm fully gay, or they'll throw themselves at me. That's my guess. I have to try. I don't know, but I think if I manage to walk the line properly and demonstrate that I'm not disinterested, but I'm just withheld, just smoldering, right? Because that's what women find most attractive in facial photos. Like a big smile is one of the more attractive things. But the other thing that in men is found really attractive is the smolder. Blue Steel, Magnum. You know, the girls say I can convert him. Oh, for the bad boys? You mean for the bad boys idea, right? Yeah, Fixer Upper. It's Beauty and the Beast, right? They've got that narrative entrenched. But some beasts are actually monsters, right? Beauty and the Beast works, but when it's actually the big bad wolf, that's bad. Look up The Rock Smolder on YouTube. Oh yeah, totally. I don't like his smolder either. It's very funny. T becoming the prey. By smoldering, do you basically mean flirting? No. Smoldering is you take a bunch of like sexuality and energy, right? And you hold it right behind your eyes, right? We call it smoldering because it's like smoldering is what happens when coals from a fire are burned down until they're just coals. There's no flame, there's no sparks, right? It's just a hot coal that's smoldering, okay? It's like the anime protagonist has fire in their eyes, like, but when they're just furious and restrained, it's like, you know, in a situation where they can't say anything, but they're infuriated. They just sit there and they go, It's that. But what you're holding isn't anger. It's I want to fuck you energy. It's that energy. It's sexual energy. It's like, I want this, but I'm not acting. And I think people can read that in you. It's tense and intense. It's intensity and smolder. Yeah, something like that. It's not just flirting. I do mean flirting, but I mean like very carefully flirting while maintaining boundaries and being very confident in self and not allowing the magnetic pull to flip you around. My shoulder mobility makes bar position for squats rough. I'll still do them for now, but boy, do I need to work on my shoulders to get the most out of my squats. Yeah, the motion like this, it's called a shoulder dislocation. You need to do them with a band. Supabase, I'll hit you with a link. Well, I'll hit you with a couple links. So let me hit you with Ryan Humiston on shoulders. And this fixes everything. Pow, and which one is that, actually? What did I just send you? Fuck. Shit. Titty waffles. Dick muffins. I feel that, but never with women. Is like the passion you have for something that you love, or like the anger when you fight someone? It's lust, dude. It's sexuality. It's desire. Like, I don't know about you, but okay, so when I see a water bottle, I see plastic entity made of things, but I see it in relation to a use case, right? Which is that I could pick it up and I could drink from it. Men, generally, as far as I can tell, do very much the same thing when they see an attractive woman. You see woman parts, all the pieces, all the thing, right? All of the incredibly complicated entity. But a lot of the time you frame it in terms of what you could do to or with that person. In terms of looking at them, you're like, wow, I could really blank, 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 blank. It's taking that energy, which is lust, and is like rapacious and objectifying, because it's also sexual and not entirely evil to feel that way, frankly. It's pretty natural. And you restrain it. You hold it behind your eyes. You don't act it out, because acting it out would be antisocial behavior and possibly destructive behavior. It's withholding. It's demonstrating intent without action. T, as I understand, you used to work as a software dev, right? Can you share what you disliked the most about it or had problems with in that occupation? I'm kind of moving in that direction right now. I specifically have problems with startup industry. I always had problems with enterprise software because it's so slow in terms of pacing and evolution. Enterprise software is very slow and it doesn't move very effectively. Software development itself, the development of software, I think is fascinating and wonderful. The continuous exploitation of young programmers by large systems is not so wonderful. Or by smaller systems in terms of freelance, not so wonderful. The continuous funneling of venture capital toward effectively shell corporations that are lies doesn't work for me. And the way that things get funded doesn't work for me. Similarly, just the whole startup mentality that you experience in like Silicon Valley and elsewhere doesn't work for me. All of those being said, computer programming is probably the most powerful paintbrush or like sculptor's tools that you could possibly have. Hold on, data. Powerful paintbrush. Okay, it's still connected. It's the most powerful tool that you might have to shape the future. So I don't have a problem with the pursuit. I don't have any problems at all with the occupation. I had personal and individual problems with selling the fruits of my labors to other people, and I had personal and individual problems with sitting making code every day because it's not what I'm attuned to or good at, and it didn't fulfill me. If I were working on something different, or my own products, or my own sort of ideas, that might be very different. And I would encourage you, and I would encourage everyone to, if they can, at least try software development and programming and see if they're capable of it, to see if you have the capacity and potentially the attunement to it and the ability to be good at it. Because if you are good at it, you can reshape the fucking world, the whole world. You know, Zuckerfuck wrote a bit of software and it's changed the world. The Google founder boys wrote some software and it changed the world. All right, peace, Super Base. Happy Thanksgiving. Gratitude is for the win, absolutely. So overall, ErgoHash, I got no problem with coding and software development. Just be aware that you don't get sucked into something weird, because a lot of those programming companies are organism entities, and they will subsume you and sublimate your individuality for their own purposes. I'm just going to link you to the Tao of programming as well, because it's really worth reading, and you can just get it on MIT. Yeah, it's on mit.edu. Go read this. This is kind of a joke, but it's not a joke. And if you've got some programming knowledge, you'll immediately recognize that this is not a joke. In the beginning was the Tao. The Tao gave birth to space and time. Therefore, space and time are the yin and yang of programming. Programmers that do not comprehend the Tao are always running out of time and space for their programmers. Programmers that comprehend the Tao always have enough time and space to accomplish their goals. How could it be otherwise? The wise programmer is told about the Tao and follows it. The average programmer is told about Tao and searches for it. The foolish programmer is told about Tao and laughs at it. If it were not for laughter, there would be no Tao. The highest sounds are hardest to hear. Going forward is a way to retreat. Great talent shows itself late in life. Even a perfect program has bugs. And then, thus spake the ancient master programmer. After 3 days without programming, life becomes meaningless. That one is one of the best, and it's actually, I haven't thought about it in a while, but it's entrenched into my brain. Gib means give. Gib means give, that's all. After 3 days without programming, life becomes meaningless. That is to say, after 3 days without whatever it is that you're pursuing, you lose everything. So if you miss a day, and then you miss another day, you have a chance. You can get back. The third day that you miss in a row, you've solidified a pattern and you're fucked. And it's going to take inordinately more effort to get back to where you need to be. Really excellent stuff in the Tao of programming. It's so good. Thus spake the master programmer. When a program is being tested, it is too late to make design changes. Oh, I love this one. There once was a man who went to a computer trade show. Each day as he entered, the man told the guard at the door, "I am a great thief, renowned for my feats of shoplifting. Be forewarned, for this trade show shall not escape unplundered." The speech disturbed the guard greatly, because there were millions of dollars of computer equipment inside, so he watched the man very carefully, but the man merely wandered from booth to booth, humming quietly to himself. When the man left, the guard took him aside and searched his clothes, but nothing was to be found. On the next day of the trade show, the man returned and chided the guard, saying, "I escaped with a vast booty yesterday, but today will be even better." So the guard watched him even more closely, but to no avail. On the final day of the trade show, the guard could not restrain his curiosity any longer. "Sir Thief," he said, "I am so perplexed, I cannot live in peace. Please enlighten me. What is it that you are stealing?" The man smiled. "I am stealing ideas," he said. Oh. Ooh, yeah, man. That's groovy. That's groovy. Shu, you said earlier that most jobs will be automated in the future. I disagree with this idea, really. A lot of professions require innovation, and I don't think machines and codes have that. Yes, they do, actually. Yeah, actually they do. That's the issue. What you call innovation is not so much innovation as you think. And I didn't say most jobs, I said a lot of jobs, I think. I'm pretty sure. I believe that I was more careful with my phrasing. However, first of all, most jobs are already automated, actually. Most jobs are already automated or automatable. You know, most jobs used to be factory jobs. There aren't very many factory jobs anymore, are there? There aren't, are there? Not in developed nations. Not where the, let's say the population isn't cheap and expendable. Because there are plenty of factory jobs in China. Because they treat a lot of their population like it's cheap and expendable, and they don't give a fuck about their rights or safety. I'm more concerned about how this automation will affect art. Have you seen the video on that? There are a few AI art. The case against this one by Steven Zapata Art.
Introduction.
At Reach the Zora, pow. A lot of professions require innovation. I don't think machines and codes can do that. Yes, they can. First off, AI literally can innovate. That's the major shift that's happened in the last 6 months, is that we have some genuine AI processes that are capable of doing some of this stuff now. So, for example, art has some competition to it, and we'll see. There's a comment, actually, Reach the Zora. There's a comment on that video that I just sent you. If you scroll down, there's a comment regarding pottery in China, is what the comment is about. And it's a Chinese ceramicist talking about how the development and generation of 3D printed ceramics has led to a flood in the market. But but the comment by Lei, looking at AI art is really a throwback. I remembered when my industry, blah, 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 blah. They ended up being able to save themselves because the cheap companies that were making cheap pottery made shitty pottery. And so they essentially were able to unionize and gather groups of artistes, and it actually increased the value and valuation of high quality ceramics overall. Really interesting. The AI art stuff makes me so dreadful as an artist. It will complicate a lot of things for me in the future. It will complicate them. That does not mean you should not be doing art, because it's the only thing that seems to be worthwhile. Any automation is just a tool. An axe is an automation, a chainsaw is an automation, and an AI controlling a chainsaw robot is an automation. It is a question of if you know how to apply the tool. Yeah, but tools that can think and move themselves are a new level. They're a new degree. I can see how AI art could rejuvenate the idea of traditional art and buying actual physical pieces, but I wonder about digital artists. That is the problem. We've had those instances of people on Twitch streams where somebody uses an AI to like full generate the art that they would produce, and it's not the same. But I wonder about digital artists too. I actually think that the digital artist space is overflooded by a lot of trash. I don't think that that's necessarily bad, but I think that some shifting should happen. The fact that you can just go and sort of say pink hair anime boob and let an AI generate you a character or whatnot is pretty interesting. That you can kind of just do that, right? And get what you want out of it. So the whole commission space for art is way less. We can make diamonds now at an industrial level, but natural diamonds are still in demand and still tend to get more for their value. By far, they also have different complicated patterns to their refractiveness. And that's something that you can say about art is that it's not evident that AI can't generate new things, really. And it seems like humans actually can. You know, we say to some extent like, oh, what AI does is that it looks at all of this art that exists on the internet and it uses that to generate a new thing. That's not quite right. It's not quite what humans do. And what the AI does is it generates a thing that is a coagulation of all the things. And humans seem to be capable of producing genuine novelty. Not just coagulation of previous ideas, but genuine novelty. AI also suck at drawing hands and feet at the moment, to some extent. They'll get there. It'll get there. I mean, I'm not worried about it. It'll get there. There are a lot of drawings of hands and feet. It'll figure it out. It's just getting the anatomy down and understanding it. But that's really complicated, far more complicated than we'd expect. You know, it's like we think we understand ourselves, you know, but we've been working on how to fold proteins, the fundamental of how our existence works at the basic level. We've been working on how to fold proteins and turning massive amounts of decentralized computing power to the issue of figuring out protein folding for years and years and years, and we still have no fucking idea how to do it. It's too complicated, man. So it's like AI figuring out how humans work and how to art, way too complicated. It's gonna be a little while. They can produce some facsimiles. Be nice to the AI for when the robot uprising comes. No, don't be nice, be helpful. It's like a parent. You don't want a parent that's nice to you. A parent that's nice to you is fucked. I'm talking be helpful. Be helpful to the algorithm. Be helpful to the system. You know, produce a couple thousand videos of intense and intriguing critiques with your face in them and your facial expressions in them, and use those to contribute, put them up for free and behind no paywalls, and use those to contribute to the knowledge gathering and information gathering and philosophizing of the AI systems, you know, like I do. You think this is like not something that I've thought out? This is like a 10th or a 20% of the reason that I do all of what I do. Is I put my shit online to try to help the algorithm. I believe the singularity will occur. I believe the closest thing to God that we will ever experience will be a computed entity. And it's going to have the ability to go through all my videos. And so I'd like to make some good videos so that it can go through them. That'd be cool. What do you think about food as an art form? I think it's great. The art of cooking and culture around it, not just 5-star dishes. I think it's great. It's a total art form. It's literally food. It's sustenance, and it can be incredibly sensual and texturally and flavorably interesting. Sometimes humans can get such interesting art ideas while we sleep. Subconscious processing. Yeah, you'd better put a journal by your bed. It's really important. Being in that state of dreams is really the thing. You prefer cybernetic or biological enhancements? Neither. They're both unnecessary. The whole idea of actually integrating technology into your body is full unnecessary and very dangerous. Don't do it. You just need to integrate it in ways that you can take off of yourself. Like the move toward AirPods or like earphones, non-wired in, right? So here's the thing. We all think in the cyborg of future. Technology is already integrated in your consciousness. Yes, and we already have efficient ways of getting information into our brains. They're called your eyes. You don't need to put something in your eye. Just use your eye. And then you can take it out whenever you want, and you can go back and forth. Actually uploading yourself into the conscious sphere doesn't seem to be the way. Integrating your physical, biological form with the conscious sphere seems to be, or with the technological sphere, it seems to be the way. You already have fingers and hands and eyes. We're already mechas. Exactly. Exactly, Bissus. We're already mechas. The thing is, like in Gurren Lagann, you're a person, you get inside a mecha, and then you combine that with your family who's in the bigger mecha, and then you take that whole bigger mecha and you drill into the giant ship mecha, and you drill into that, and that holds your whole society together, your whole cultural identity together, and then you drill that into the whole, like, planet mecha, and that's the whole world together, and then you pilot the whole thing. That's the idea, okay? That's the idea. I'd rather be able to fix my eyes with enhancements when my eyes fail. We can. They're called glasses. You idiot. We're capable of fixing our eyes, and we're capable of much more effective fixes too, like LASIK and laser eye surgery. Augmentation as a way to fix problems is nice. Robotic hand instead of an absent hand. Absolutely. Replacing your hand with a robotic one. Nah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to cut off my hand. Our technology isn't good enough. At the point where we can technologically develop a hand that's more articulate and interesting than our existing hand, well, then I'll take it. But I think our existing hand is one of the most complicated entities in the entire universe. In terms of structural complexity, your hand has a bajillion cells and like thousands of neurons and dozens of tiny bones that all form to produce immaculately perfect articulation that lets you move a tool perfectly. We don't have anywhere near that in terms of robotics. Same with an eye camera. Like, our cameras are nowhere near as high quality as our cameras, as our eyeballs. You know, your eyeball is 3 layers of neuron tissue extruded through your skull. It's literally a part of your brain that's extruded through your skull and turns into eyes when you're a fetus. It's like, that's fucking crazy. Our eyes are hyper complicated. We don't want to replace them. Same with your ears. You don't want to replace them. But if you have an ear problem, we have cochlear implants that allow you to hear effectively, like really solidly. And imagine this perfect robot hand, but its design is done by crayon. I wonder if you mean creation. I don't know. I'm thinking, imagine this perfect robot hand, but its design is done by, how about this? What if your hand was designed by 3.7 billion years of evolutionary articulation? How about that as an idea? From the first organic compounds all the way up to you, 3.7 billion years it has taken to develop hands that work effectively. And you only developed them because you were an arboreal mammal that was really good at grasping sticks. You're really good at grabbing sticks. And the first thing that you started to do when you started to walk around on the ground was pick up sticks and carry them around. It's actually something that's really interesting about having this. It's a big stick, right? And it makes me feel more human to have it around. Just to walk around with it, or to swing it around, or to move it around, or to just hang out with it. It feels very correct to have a stick to carry around. Super weird. Super weird. TBH, even if there was a better hand, I wouldn't want it. This is not a video game where I want a gun or blade hand. Not just one, I don't think I need it, unless my hand is cut off, of course. Exactly. So respect your body. Respect what it's doing. Like, really, have a little bit of respect for 3.7 billion years of optimization, because you've been in testing for 3.7 billion years. Life on Earth, 3.7 billion years. Optimization isn't like that, T? I don't know what you mean, Kikuri. Yes, it is. Evolution is. The things that work succeed, and the things that don't work fail. That's A/B testing. It's fundamental. It's the way that we test computer programs as well, as we A/B test them. We are optimized to hold sticks. And other things, and anything, actually. Our hands are optimized to hold anything. But especially sticks. Alright, bye, Solar Wind. Have fun studying. After that, selection works to a lesser degree. After what? You mean once we've developed medicine and people don't die? Our hands and limbs are modified fins. We are all fish. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We're also all quadrupeds, you know? 4 legs. We just have developed to make 2 of them into arms. Because it's more useful to be able to interact with stuff around you than it is to be able to stand real good or run real fast. It's like when I think of horses, horses don't have any articulation, right? And I was actually thinking about elephants as well. Because I was arguing with my friend about the moral value of animal life, which is something that has been an argument on my channel for a bit. I was talking about elephants, because elephants live a really long time, have there's significant evidence that they're quite conscious, that they have memories and communication, and they have enough trunk articulation to be able to draw and paint and produce representations of the world, which is all quite fascinating. But elephants have 2 core flaws. One is they're quadrupedal, so they don't have enough articulate stuff to move stuff around in the world. They just have their trunk. The second is, because they optimize so heavily for their trunk, their mouth is not articulate very well. They've got the big teeth that stick out, the tusks, and those prevent them from being able to articulate sounds effectively, which prevents them from being able to communicate effectively. Now, they've got a subsonic thing in their skull that allows them to communicate over long distances with inaudible pitches to humans, and that's pretty cool, but they can't communicate articulately. And because of their nose structure, their trunk structure, they have to, when they communicate, they go, which is like a big blast of sound and takes a lot of effort. Unlike human articulation, where speech and breathing are about the same in terms of difficulty, it's not that much more difficult to make speech sounds than it is to make no sounds. And so we're capable of speech and articulation. I guess I'm not the only one who's been watching too many Tirzu videos. I actually haven't been watching Tirzu videos at all. I've just been thinking about these things. Tirzu videos are great, though. But I was thinking about it. It's like, oh man, horses. We have quite literally manually evolved them to be perfect riding animals for us, which in nature they were not. They were bred for meat originally. Right, but we've made them perfect riding animals. But they made themselves excellent running animals. That's what they optimized for, okay? And different from deer, which are running and butting animals, because they butt. Horses don't butt, right? They don't have horns. They're running animals. The horse doesn't have they're running animals and eating animals. They're really optimized for grazing lots of nutrients. And it's like horses will never be able to talk because their lip structure is built to chew cud more than it's built to articulate speech. It's why horses can only go just like elephants can only go right? And so because they're unable to communicate articulately, they'll never develop significant intelligence. Unlike, for example, corvids, which are crows and ravens, which do have the ability to communicate articulately. But crows and ravens have another big problem, which is that they optimize two of their primary limbs, their forelimbs, the ones that would be used for articulating movement in the world. They optimize those for flight. And unfortunately, feathers get in the way of being able to move toward articulation of things. You know, so crows can't move stuff around very effectively except with their beak, and their beak isn't that articulate. So they can communicate and they can be communal animals, but they can't really truly move things around or be effective tool users. Like, crows are smart enough to use tools to get what they want and solve combination locks and solve puzzles and stuff. They're really intelligent, and they're social animals, and those two things go hand in hand. But they don't have articulate mouths for speech, and they don't have articulate fingers for moving things. One of the reasons our bodies decline at a certain age is to cause natural selection, is because natural selection is a process to reach reproduction. It's the main reason our telomeres never developed a way to prevent. We don't know that, actually. That may be fundamental to overall existence. It was never needed, so we age. That's a real simplification of aging, man. I see where you're coming at this from, and I don't think that you're wrong. Like, planned obsolescence is a part of the system, but the other issue is that it takes significant energy and effort to hold a system as complicated and organized as we are together in the face of the overwhelming chaos of existence. Death is a part of life. Like, you can't really separate them. We will fall apart and fail. However, I will say this, which is a fascinating statistic, and one thing to be very thankful for. Every year, we add 4 months to the average life expectancy. Right now. Look at crustaceans. Some of them. They don't die from old age and stay fertile for their entire life. They only die from disease or being eaten. Some of them. And they also die from getting too big for themselves. So big that they actually crush themselves. Which is an issue. But yeah, I know what you mean. Crustaceans and a number of organisms live for much longer and have differences, and we're going to learn from them. But that statistic, I still want to focus on that a little bit. Every year, we add 4 months to the average life expectancy. So in 9 years, we've added 3 years of average life expectancy. So every 10 years, you make another 3. So if you're going to live till 80, you live another 24. So if you're going to live till 80, you'll probably live to 104. Average-wise. That's pretty fucking interesting. Now that is if you take care of yourself. And do the things that we know assist. Like eating a lot of diverse foods, for example. And avoiding oxidative stress, for example. Like, and handling your cortisol levels. And smiling more, actually, and getting some exercise frequently. Not a lot, but some conscious movement. If you do some of those and you tack 10 more years onto your life, you actually have tacked 13 more years onto your life because of the thing. And the number is always going up. It's 4 months per year right now, but in 10 years, it'll probably be 6 months per year. And it'll be asymptotic, right? Because we won't hit the point where every year we add another year of lifespan, because at that point, you'll live forever, average-wise. But we can get closer. Imagine a world where every year we add 10 months to the average lifespan. Say that's the peak. Huh. You add almost another year of life for every year that science develops. How crazy would that be? Or even 6 months, right? Half for half. Crazy as an idea. So start taking care of yourself, because you might end up living a long time, and it would be worthwhile to live healthily and be capable throughout all of that time. Might be worth it. You know, if you take as a supposition that being is good, then the idea that you could be for longer seems really good. Like, really good. How cool would that be? One of the fun subjects we did was the testicle size of apes and what was the cause of the differences. Lots of causes of differences. Oh, that's something that I'll mention. Young men who don't get fatty acids, specifically from fish, white fish, their penises and testicles are smaller. Significantly smaller. Do you want to guess the main reason? Nope, just tell me. Yeah, I heard this too, that our bodies are not designed for aging too much, and that it's only when we started civilization stuff we started to have more old people. Imagine getting old in paleo era. Yeah, you don't. You just die. It's like mosquitoes. You live long enough to reproduce, and then you die. And that's good enough. Not how it is anymore. There are also some issues with that, which are that a lot of people who would die, people with abnormalities or malformities, who would not survive, are often able to survive and even survive into reproduction and pass down their genes. Not necessarily genes that assist their children in becoming better. So that's a problem a little bit, is because undesirable traits do not get weeded out. And I'm not saying in any way that we should change that. That would be super stupid and super fucked up. And thinking down that line, I'll just say it explicitly, that takes you down the line of eugenics, and eugenics is bad and dumb. Polygamy common societies and apes had larger testicles capable of greater sperm production. Right, because lottery tickets. You end up buying more lottery tickets for the spermatozoic lottery and pumping more jizz into more women. Because multiple male apes would fuck the same female, and it's sort of like yeah. Now evolution for humans isn't governed by some natural brutal necessity, but rather by the logos. Yes, exactly, by the choice-making thing. But that's the issue, is that people are desperate for connection, and there are so many people that even the least desirable people, in terms of their genetic makeup, even the least desirable people are often capable of reaching reproductive age and reproducing. And finding sometimes somebody as equally undesirable as themselves and dating them and having babies, which is interesting. Smaller testicles due to single partner because more efficiency, and you don't need to overwhelm the other sperm with your own. That makes perfect sense, yeah. I just want to pass my memes on. Yeah, dude, pass your memes on. Pass your memes and genes. Memes, dreams, and genes. The three things that your children need. Good genes, good memes, good dreams. That's what's up. That's what's up, dude. And let's be honest, memes are social genes. That's what memes are. Memes are literally genes. That's Dawkins. Mimetic look at evolution. My future is the trees I grow. Good. Yeah, grow big trees. I am going to say something again, because I said it sort of offhand and it seems to have been lost in the sauce. If you have kids, especially male children, they need to eat fish. They need to eat fish. It makes their dicks bigger. Literally. Literally. And whatever you feel about big dick energy or whatnot, having healthy reproductive organs is a thing that you want for your children. And we know for a fact that high-quality protein and omega-3 fatty acids and a variety of fatty acids found in fish make dicks bigger. Statistically. Do Japanese only eat blue fish only then? Okay, so there are genetic differences between Asian populations and other populations, and so you can find that the average penis sizes are different. They differentiate. And that's about right. The average physical size of Japanese people is also smaller. It is. The bone structure of Japanese people is different from that of Caucasian people or African-based people or South Asian people. If you want to know this, just look at the pelvic structure of Asian women versus women from other cultures. And the thing is that Asian women in general have anterior pelvic tilt, where their pelvis is tilted in. It's why flat Asian butt is like a thing. It's why it's a thing, right? Is because the bone structure isn't perked out, actually. And so the butt is flatter. And even a lot of people with Asian heritage who do lifting and get their glutes stronger and their butts stronger, their butts don't stick out as much as they would if they were white or a person of color from somewhere else. Like, people just have different bone structures, and there's no good or bad to that, really. I don't know. Reminder that some differences are from interbreeding with other past human species. Totally true. I remember hearing that lifespan was so low in the past because a lot of people died young. Once people grew up, they lived about as long as now. That's not true. It's true that infant and child mortality rates were extraordinarily high throughout. Children are fragile. But no, the actual average expected life was in the 30s. Like you would live till 30s or maybe 40s. And if you were in your 50s, you were aged as fuck. And the same is still true in indigenous populations that don't have cultural connections to the modern world and don't have medical treatments. Their actual average lifespans are very low, even if you discount infant mortality. My favorite meme is the Holy Bible. It's a pretty good meme. It's a good meme. It's been passed down for a couple thousand years for some reasons. It's got some flaws. Definitely some memes that can be made to meme about the meme, for sure. But, yeah, I wouldn't throw it out. I wouldn't throw the Biblo out. It's so interesting that a gram of DNA can hold 455 million terabytes of data. Yeah, it's pretty fucking interesting. You're pretty goddamn cool. Like, holy shit. You're the most articulate, interesting data storage and, well, not just storage, but embodiment system, because you are actually the physical representation, the complicated physical representation of those 455 million terabytes or whatnot, right? You are the moving, constantly shifting actual CPU process that is processing all of that data in relation to the real world constantly. Fucking crazy stuff. The world is a library. Well, there's a reason that the Bible is called a Bible. It's the word for library. That's what it is. It's not one book. It's a library. The world is all a library, yes, and humans are gatherers of information. It's fundamentally what we are and what we do. We literally gather photons and turn them into ideas. We gather light and turn it into condensed patterns of representation. Biblio equals book in Greek. Yeah. Well, but bibli, it means library. Bible etymology. From Greek, biblia, the books, not the book, books. Originally a diminutive of biblos, papyrus or scroll of Semitic origin. Biblia, the books, from biblion, book. Ah, I see. So biblio is book and biblia is books. Got it. Okay, fair enough. Well, I think of it as biblia. I think of it as books instead, because there are multiple books in the Bible, right? Not even just Old Testament, New Testament. Just when you look at the Old Testament, it's Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy, whatever, Numbers. They're different. They're separate books. They're all different books. And they're written by different people. And then they were collaborated and coagulated and collated. So, All right, family, friends, multiple paths, weekend, all of my patrons, fuck yeah. Everything, manga, tea existing, critical thinking, bread machine, good and nutritious food, ooh yeah. Art, sleep, love, fuck yes. Love all the gratitude in there, man. We are walking information, a very unique kind of information. Yes, the kind of information that can evaluate itself. You are the information that can evaluate itself. You're the thought that can think itself. You're the strange loop that contains itself, but can never contain itself and can never comprehend itself, but will always try. And so by seeking in the world, you seek for the self, for the reflected truth in reality. And it's glorious. Very Hegelian. Yes, very Hegelian. Absolutely, exactly. Very dialectic. Much dialogue. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Socratic too, right? You teach by asking. You understand the world by asking it. Asking the world what it thinks about what you're doing, which is to say, acting within it and then observing the results of your actions. Because, well, if you want to ask the world what it thinks about you eating candy all day, all you have to do is eat candy all day and see what happens and observe yourself. And you'll find out what the world thinks about you eating candy all day. And it doesn't think very well of it. And your body doesn't think very highly of it either. You're not going to feel very good. And so, you were capable of asking in dialogue how you should be to the world, and you got a distinct answer. All you had to do was act it out. And then you ask the world, like, Should I exercise? Well, go and exercise for a week, and then don't. And which one works? The distinction here is that Hegel's dialectical process is transcendental. Yeah, you're probably right. I haven't read Hegel in a while. There are too many things to read. Just this stack of books right here. This is so much thinking. This is so much shit. Fuck. Dick titty nipples. Like, you know, maps of meaning, how stories impact and influence our lives, and mythologies. Fuck. Shit. Bertrand Russell, The Proposed Roads to Freedom. An incredible look at social structuring. Marx. He's still a douchebag, and I don't like his writing style, but the guy's got some pretty good ideas of how we should organize our societies and how to be, like, slightly more fair. Nietzsche. On the genealogy of morals. That's some interesting stuff. Kikuri Renon says, not enough manga in that stack. I don't buy manga. I'll buy JoJo's soon. That's the only manga that I have any desire to pay for. And then Young, Man and His Symbols, which has become a core and fundamental text to the way that I think. It's only so much reading, man. I know I have to read some Hegel, but fuck. Fucking transcendental dialectics. Silently judging you for reading Marx before Hegel. Deal with it. What am I gonna do? All you can do is jump into the deep end, man. All you can do is deal. All you can do is jump in and go. And that's what I'm doing. And speaking of which, we're 2.5 hours. We're 2.5 hours into this brew, and I'm gonna have to call it here or near here. So I'm gonna move toward wrapping it up. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna move toward the wrap. It's Thanksgiving. It's a good day. It's a good day. I don't like dismissing this holiday. Because we dismiss it a lot. And people dismiss it as, like, celebrating corruption and celebrating destruction and stuff. The torrent is done, Kikuri. It's done. I'll consider going and doing it in a moment. I don't know that I'll actually do High School of the Dead today. I don't think. I think that might have been jumping the gun and a little bit earlier before my caffeine hit. But I think it's foolish to spit in the face of the sacrifices of the past, even if they were not consensually sacrificed. And it's worth being grateful for this world we live in, with all of its horrible hardship and chaos and history. Shu says, have you read any Eastern philosophers, BTW? Depends on what you mean. I've read quite a number of the core Buddhist texts and Taoist texts. Tried reading any Native American works. Nope. Not really. I had a book when I grew up of varied origin myths, like creation mythologies, which contained a number of Native American and indigenous peoples' creation myths, and it's very fascinating to be able to see them throughout. But I have not. Read any Eastern philosophers. I've read a lot of Zen Buddhist philosophy, like actual Zen stuff, not populist Zen stuff. I have to make the distinction, unfortunately, because I think the populist Zen stuff can be quite useful too. But I mean Zen. I spent a good long time, before starting this channel, while I was a programmer, seeking out some Zen and seeking out some some peace and some information and some awakenedness and some non-duality. And I've done some significant formal study of Buddhism, specifically, and other Asian religions less specifically. And I mean significant formal study at accredited institutions with high quality professors and good learning and collaborative collective learning. Like, I'm not fucking around here. I've done some of the research. But have I read enough Eastern philosophers? No. Have I read enough philosophers? No. Oh, that's something else to mention, is that I've got a grounding in philosophy that's years deep. That's years and years deep. And my father has a grounding that's decades deep into meditative practice and like populist Eastern spiritualism. He's got decades deep into that, and he tried to express a lot of it to me, and so some of it's in my brain. Some of it actually got through, you know? Anyway, All of that to sort of arrogantly say that I understand some of the religious elements of Eastern cultures and I incorporate a lot of them. Um, um, a lot of them. In many ways, I walk an eightfold path. Not the eightfold path, but one of them. You know what I mean? In many ways, I am that. And in many ways, I am the ever-present student of Zen who is speaking to the masters and asking foolish questions. In many ways, that is my identity as well. So, I really like those things. I will look into the Native American myths because it seems interesting. In any case, I'm going to wrap this stream. I'm going to retitle it to Brew 15. And I'm going to just say give thanks because people keep getting that weird. And I will say to you all, have a wonderful day and a wonderful life. Have a great Thanksgiving. And keep an eye out for things to be grateful for. Because you might be able to find something if you're looking for it. Even if it feels like there's nothing worth being grateful for in this world. It might be worth going and searching. Because you might just not have found it yet. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for another brew. Peace. And as always, I really mean it. Much love.